Good day, everyone. Good day. How are we doing today? I am your host, Sharon Bracy. Welcome to the Wildest Wake Up Show. I'm your host, Sharon Bracy. And every single day, Shiesty, I rebel against remedial rhetoric. And today will be no different. And just like always, we like to open up the panel to get people's opinions, but you cannot regurgitate information that you heard from elsewhere. No, you cannot. You got to be able to communicate. What up, Shicey? What up, Young? Hey. Don't worry, I'm going to work on the night bot. I'll figure that out. I'm trying to do things. God damn it. Oh, Shicey, you got down tonight? What up, Haitian? Good day, sir. How you doing, Black Beauty? Good day to you. Y'all know how we like to start the day. When I say good day to you, make sure you say it back so I can feel that great, productive energy coming through the screens because I can feel it, God damn it. Shicey, we got to talk, Shicey. What up, Hank? Oh, man. These men are wild. Hey, Shicey, I be trying to stay away. I'll be trying to leave them alone, but they keep calling, they keep pulling me back, Shiesty. Correct, good day. They keep on pulling me back. I'll be trying to leave them alone. I'll be trying to leave the Rim Bros alone, but there's something wrong with them. I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they be doing some weirdness. They be saying some craziness. Hey, make sure we are halfway to 500 on the new channel. Please make sure y'all spam it out, hit that share button so we can get to 500. I need y'all help with that, so I really appreciate y'all. We are almost there to remonetization, so I need y'all help, please and thank you. What's up, Dawn? So I need you. Damn, the men lied to each other, huh, Shiesty? Don't worry, I'm gonna work on the I guess I have to figure out how I can get Nightbot to not worry about emojis. I guess that's what is upset about. I'll just start this thing. I never actually used the Nightbot. It's my first time. So we'll see how that works. What's up, girl? You better. Let me drink some of these damn tears. Shout out to Young. T-Dub. Yeah, it's so interesting to hear the goddamn complaints that these people be having, man. And it's just weird to me. To be honest with you, it is very weird to me to hear the superiority. I think I'm saying it correctly. Complex that they be having, because I don't like to waste somebody's time. Because dating these days is like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without the instructions. As soon as you think you got it all figured out, and then you're left holding just this random screw. Wonder where all went wrong. And we got the men out here, like we hear them talking, and I've been on my political for a couple of days now, but I'm guessing we're gonna have to dedicate Thursdays to Relationship Thursday. God damn it, I don't know, because I just can't take it anymore. They keep calling me back, and the men are out here acting like they are they're acting like they are Allen wrench, right? I don't know if y'all know what that is. That holds the whole thing together. Like they entitled to special treatment just because they was born with a Y chromosome. And I just want to talk about this superiority complex that they have. Like you hear them talk about it all of the time. Otis who? Good day, Zero Tolerance. Shout out to Otis who. I appreciate that. Make sure y'all hitting that like and that share. We are halfway to 500 subs. And once we get to 500 subs, we could get monetized again, at least partially monetized. You're not fully monetized until you have 1,000 subs. So please, and thank you, please share it out. And we need to gather some folks to go out there and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell too. And I always find it so weird and entertaining that when you just listen to these men talk, even whether they married or not, whether they players or not, whether it's the men that get all these women, they could just walk in any kind of room and just get women at all costs. They all kind of say the same thing. And the issue is that a lot of men, I'm starting to realize that a lot of men have an entitlement situation. They actually believe that if they got a good woman at home, if she is cooking, she is cleaning, she's doing all the things that she needs to do in the bedroom, she's taking care of the kids, and she's dressing, and all these things. Good day, Miss Jalen. She's doing all these things. These men actually believe it's because of them. They actually believe those women that are doing all the good things, no doubt, Miss Jalen, all of the women that they have that's doing all those good things is because of him, is the reason why she is doing good things. She's not doing those things because she's just a great woman. No, it's because he's doing it to make her great. Her being great has nothing to do with her, actually. It has everything to do with him. That's why he feels entitled. This is why a lot of men say, look, I'm over 6 foot. I have a good job. I have a nice car. I got cologne. I got nice clothes. Why is it so difficult for me to date? You are not entitled to have just a good one just because of who you are. No, you got to go ahead and find somebody that is like-minded, that has the same type of character. You got to find character, not because you are some so-called, in your own eyes, this great, phenomenal man that other men tell you that you are, because y'all have a problem with other men telling you that, yeah, you knock off all the checklists. Every woman should be kissing at your feet. It don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Yo, if you have a good woman, she is a good woman because she is that. Not because you did something that make her good. These men are too entitled. And see, this is where Bubba is 100% wrong. Those men absolutely have troubles in dating. We see it all the time. Even celebrities, all these NBA players, they have trouble in dating. These NFL players, they have trouble in dating. Because they believe they checked off some imaginary boxes that other men tell them that they need to go check out, is the problem. So they believe because they check off all these so-called boxes that other men tell them to go check, not women, by the way, that they are entitled to women, that they are entitled to a good woman because they have all these good attributes. Women are only good because of the things that they do for that woman, instead of her just being naturally good. This is the problem that most men have. They actually believe this. I go out to work, I provide all the bills, I do this, I do that, I do that, I do that. So therefore, it's crazy. So therefore, the new this girlfriend, she's supposed to just do these things. Babe. So Jalen, I have children. If I was a virgin, that would be very strange. So Jada asked me if I was a virgin. He's crazy as hell. Ah, boy, that's crazy. Make sure y'all hitting the like and the share button. Make sure y'all running over to the new channel. I appreciate y'all. We're gonna keep building that channel up. We are halfway to monetization over there. Let me drink some water. And so that's the real issue. Like, so this is why every time you hear these men talk, they keep saying that the women's is the problem. Because they feel like they doing all the right things. This is why the other day when I was having a conversation on DJ Witch Doctor, they were saying, yeah, he work in a warehouse. He's doing good. He's a good man. And so because he got a job, he deserves a good woman. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. Just because you happen to be born 6 foot, that you did not contribute to your height whatsoever. You happen to be over 6 foot. Thank you, Haitian. I really appreciate that. Just because you're 6 foot, you think that, oh, I don't understand why I can't get a date. No, it don't work like that way, bro. Sorry. So here's the deal. So like men walk into relationships and they are applying, they act like that as if they're applying for a job. They're like, I'm a man, I provide, I protect, I deserve. And women out there like, cool. They like, hey, cool. That's cool. You do all those things. You're a man. Great. Check. You provide. Good. Check. Oh, you protect. Good. Check. Oh, you deserve. And women are like, hey, that's cool, but can you communicate, bro? Can you listen, homie? Can you not leave your socks on the floor? And this superiority complex isn't new. It's been around since the cavemen when they were dragging women by their goddamn hair, but now it's evolved. Men are just, they aren't just expecting women to cook and clean. They expect them to be therapists, cheerleaders, personal assistants. We know they want them to be cheerleaders. We seen a new thing with Kevin Gates. And also, I guess symbols too. So somebody just got Nightbot just did something for somebody because they did the same symbol over and over. Yeah. We seen this shit with Kevin Gates and LeBron James. If your girl is not looking at you like how this girl was looking at LeBron James, she ain't the one for you. That's bullshit. Hey, Davey Dix, I'm sorry, but he was on some bullshit talking about LeBron James. Savannah's not looking at LeBron James the way how that woman was looking at LeBron. Get the F out of here. Kelvin, what you talking about? That's y'all ain't teach your kids nothing? Now they grown and you can't tell them nothing? I don't know what you talking about, Kelvin. The problem is a lot of these men, they run to these spaces and they just get coddled in. And it's goddamn weird. And it's absolutely weird. Make sure y'all hitting that share button. We are halfway to getting 500. Please and thank you. Make sure we share it out. Type in new so you can find the new channel. Thank you. What up, Silent? So it's crazy. No, the women ain't not supposed to be all those goddamn things. Like I said, this shit been around since the cavemen and when they was dragging women by the hair. That men are they expect a woman to cook, clean, therapists, cheerleaders, personal assistants, and then when a woman does well in race, that men are like, hey, see, she's thriving because I'm doing the right thing. Okay. Thank you, babe. Shout out to my beautiful wife that she does the things that she does because she's great, not because I'm great. She's just a great person by herself individually. This is a problem with a lot of these men. They feel like because they are doing something, they are doing their job, that makes the other person. No, bro. She's just a good person, just like you supposed to be just a good person. There's a problem with a lot of these men. They be out here just pounding on their goddamn chest. It's insane to me. All they do is want to complain about the wrong one. But a lot of these married men, they are doing the same thing, talking down on all these women. They call them women liars and this, that. Bro, how did you find the one woman that ain't all these goddamn things? Are you saying that your woman is doing those things? I think a lot of them, they are just complaining about their wife in a free place. That's the real thing that they're doing. This is the only place they could complain about their wife, because when they go home, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Just showing support. Have a great show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. What's up, Bolo? The entitlement is wild when you really think about it. Like, no, that is just a good woman. It has nothing to do with you being good. If you chose a proper woman, you chose a proper woman, and she is doing all the great things because she is a great person, not because you did something. A lot of these men say, oh, look, I go to work and I do this, and my woman still speak back to me. What does that mean? You think because you're 6 foot, you go to work, you work out, and you provide, and you so-called protect. We know most men ain't protecting a damn thing. Most men are not put in positions where they have to show that they are protectors. Most men in this world have never had to fight before. Like, come on. Yeah, out there just want to play the blame game because of your shortcomings. You think that you, being 6 foot, 6-pack, 6 this and 6 that or whatever, that a woman is supposed to just what? Bow down to you. That's the problem. This is why a lot of men, when they go ahead and cheat, she don't know I'm cheating, so I don't know why. So you like they act as if, even though they are the ones cheating on their wife, they're like, I don't know why my wife is acting all crazy. She don't know that I'm cheating. I don't know why she acting crazy for. You think people don't know? Like, people could have this sense that they might not know 100% like, hey, this person is doing this thing, right? But something is off. You could feel that in your partner if you pay attention to your partner. If you pay attention to your partner, you see something is off. So when a woman is acting funny and you saying, she keeps saying I'm cheating, but she don't have no proof that I'm cheating, but you are actually cheating, is wild to me. It's one of the wildest things I ever heard a man say on a job site. He's like, yeah, but what think? I was like, but bro, are you cheating? He's like, yeah, but she don't know. If you don't get the F out of here. He said, what? I go to work, I provide, I make sure this, that, and the third. Oh, I get it. Exactly, Earl. All these attributes that you got, it doesn't mean anything if you have a horrible character. That's the truth of the matter. It doesn't matter if you could go to work and you could provide some money, you can protect because you're big and strong. And also, if you can't communicate with your partner and understand what that partner needs, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. Clearly, we see millionaires get divorced too. If you're a horrible person, you're a horrible person. You cannot have this image. This is why I keep saying y'all got to take your mask off and be who you are. Because out there in Front Street, you look like that person. You look like that guy. You do. But then Robin M got the, and then when we start peeling back that onion, we turn this into a craft as we start having conversation with you. We find out that you just a rim bro. You a red pill incel manosphere dude, a no good sucker. And y'all men need to recalibrate. And it's sad to say that a lot of these men are full of ish because they keep following full of shit men. And then they turn themselves into that. And they don't really mean to be ain't shit dudes. They don't mean to be, but they really believe in these other men that they have the sauce, that they have the secret idea, even though a lot of these men are in horrible relationships themselves. Or majority of the men that they are listening to are single men that's having relationship problems themselves. Like, you're supposed to be with the other person, let the other person be great. The other person is not great because of you. My wife is not cooking and cleaning because I'm able to provide all these things. No, she's gonna cook and clean whatever, no matter if I was broke or not. We gotta eat. That is part of her characteristics. If all we had was goddamn if all we had was goddamn syrup sandwiches, hey, she'd be making some hell of a good syrup sandwich. And we ain't had no money. We had to go find a goddamn oak tree, stab it, boop, turn it so we could create our own syrup and let it drip out. Hey, that's what we'd have had to goddamn do, because that's what she likes to do. She likes to make shit. Got me cursing, goddamn it, on my own damn show. Bubba, her. So let's go with some. Let's break this down with some stats, right? We got Pew Research, right? The Center study, right? They found that 55%, of women think dating has gotten harder in the last decade compared to 39% of men. Why is the question? Because women are dealing with, this is what they say. This is what the women saying. Women are dealing with increased risk, physical, emotional, financial. Meanwhile, men are out here complaining about ghosting, texting, and etiquette. Yeah, I can't even pronounce goddamn words. Etiquette. This is the problem. Women are complaining about risk, physical, emotional, and financial, and men are talking about ghosting, testing, and etiquette. What do they over here complain about every time we hear? Why are you talking to me like that, queen? Why are you talking to me like that, sis? Ma'am, why are you talking? Hey. What up, young blood? Mr. Young Blood, what up with you? This is the problem. People are not, and they're just not getting it. Calvin's saying women hate competing. That's a lie. It definitely they don't hate competing in the goddamn workforce because they cooking it up. They whooping men's ass right now. They done caught up with how. Come on, what are we talking? This is the problem. Way too many men would deal with the remedial rhetoric of what other men are saying. So looking out in the world, go outside and say, "Hey, this woman out there competing." Ain't nobody want no goddamn man complaining about you, about their etiquette. About, hey, you talk to me a little aggressive. I felt a certain way as a man. You talking to me masculine. What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's crazy to me. Don't worry, I'm going to open it up for everybody that said that I am wrong. I will open them up. You men feel entitled because you believe that you are providing something that all women, majority of them, let me not say all, I'm the one. A lot of you men think that you are doing enough for majority of women to be kissing at your feet. And I'm sorry to tell you, you are wrong. Very White. Ha, 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 ha. We are almost at what we need, Robin M. We are almost what we need. We are almost at 500 subs. We need to get the 500 subs to the new channel, please and thank you. Your wife, your woman, your girlfriend, she is cooking and cleaning because she's a neat and clean person. She got to eat. It ain't because you did something special. This is the problem with entitled men. They actually believe that they supposed to get some because what they did it makes their woman a certain way. This is why they really believe in this idea about broke man and rich man, where we see it is average men every day getting married on a day-to-day basis because they know how to communicate. Look at this man. Look at this man. Black man is fair. This is crazy to me. Instead of addressing the words that I am saying, you want to paint some fake ass narrative. This is a problem with some of you men. You're not addressing any of the words that I'm actually saying. Hashtag man is fair. Address what I am saying, not paint some narrative, bro. And this is the problem. A lot of y'all men are dishonest like that. A lot of men are dishonest. Y'all do not want to address the subject at hand. Y'all want to paint a false and fake narrative. It's crazy to me. Let's go. We need everybody to jump over to the new channel as well. You know, we start off on this channel, but we need everybody to go to the brand new channel. Make sure y'all hit that that notification bell over there. We are almost where we need to be so we can get back up and running, monetize, and we could get things moving in the right direction. In the meantime, you can support by the PayPal. The Cash App. What else? Put a 1 in the chat. You're going to support the. Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to subscribe to the new channel. Let me see how many people got myself in. It's going to make sure we get to monetization again. Put a 1 in the chat. God damn it. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Youngblood. And also, there you go. You can also send $1 super chat to, and you can buy Stripe as well. We know damn well Imperius ain't goddamn superior to no goddamn body. Oh, I feel look at my girl. I love that girl. She is hilarious. I love her. I absolutely love that woman. Lord have mercy. Oh man. What's up, Breezy? Here's another stat, right? So this is the problem. Like what I was saying, here's the problem, right? So we got the women, they saying, where was I? Because women are dealing with the increase of risk, right? Physical, emotional, financial. So this is the problem why women believe 55% of women think that it's gotten harder with dating in the last decade. These are the 3 top things: risk, physical, emotional, and financial. Those are the 4 top things. And guess what it is for men? Men also, while men are complaining about ghosting, texting, and etiquette. Like literally, they saying that the woman is talking a little too aggressive. Man up, bro. It's like women are running a marathon and men are complaining about their shoelaces. Speaking of running, I did a nice long run yesterday. I'm in pain right now. Running season has begun. I shouldn't have stopped running for so goddamn long. Damn, I'm in pain. And here's another stuff. 47% of Americans say dating is harder today than it was 10 years ago, right? Women are twice as likely as men to say it's because of increased risk. What are they afraid of? What risk are women afraid of? So while men are out here flexing their superiority complex, women are just trying to survive in the dating scene. They have risk. This is what they're afraid of. So this is what I don't understand, Black man said. What do you mean? They just want them to dance. I don't know. Do they have a bunch of males strip clubs where men are just dancing and women are throwing money at them? Yo, Davey Dix. Yo, that first mile was crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. So what rules? So the gal, he said women changed. What rules they changed? What rules have they changed? You sent me something, Miss Jalen? Yeah, that's crazy. I don't understand. What is he talking about? Dancing and entertaining. Like, this is crazy. I do not know. I did not know it was a Miss J. I had no idea that it was a bunch of clubs where men are dancing and women are throwing money at them. Where is this place? Is a bunch of those? Yeah, I got you, Miss Jana. I see what you're saying. So this idea that he's saying that women want men to dance around like monkeys this is insane. They just saying stuff. They don't really mean what they're saying. He don't even know why he's saying it. He heard somebody else say it and he's just regurgitating. This is why I want them to come up and explain and express what they actually are talking about. Because when we peel back this onion, we turn it to a crop as we realize that it's just regurgitation. They actually do not experience these things. That is a bunch of women that say, dance for me. Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. It doesn't happen. This whole idea that women just want men to be just jumping through hoops and loops for them is not realistic. It doesn't happen. It's crazy. I just want you to substantiate. I will drop the link very shortly, and I want you to come up here and explain to it because maybe I'm off. That is fine. I'm willing to recalibrate and have an understanding. Maybe I'm off about the dating world, but what I'm understanding is that men are complaining about ghosting, texting, and etiquette, while women are complaining about risk, physical, financial, all these other things. Like I said, it seems like women are running marathons and men are complaining about their shoelaces. Exactly, Alex. Did I go, babe? Well, we did kind of meet dancing. We was shaking our asses on each other for sure. I was like, because they saying that women want men to be dancing like little monkeys.
How do monkeys dance?
It's ridiculous.
I don't understand.
It's ridiculous. Makes no damn sense whatsoever. Exactly. This is the problem, Kelvin. A lot of men don't even understand that women feel at risk when they go dating because guess what? A woman's value goes down when she is with a man. How crazy is that? A man thinks his value goes up when he's dealing with a bunch of women. But also those same women that he's dealing with, he will call them what? What will he call them if he had a lot of women? Because women are and this, that, and the third. So when a woman is with a man, she gets less valuable, according to what men say. Don't worry. I want to hear the conversation. I want to see. Hopefully I am wrong about the entitlement, but a lot of men feel entitled to things just because they are a man, because he has a good job, because he think he's good, because he's tall. Whatever the Rim Brothers be preaching, whatever the Rim Brothers, the red pill insiders, man, for these no good suckers be preaching. They feel like they deserve, majority of women need to be at their feet. That's the issue. And I'm going to open it up. And we're going to see who's going to hit the link and actually say something that has some kind of substance to it. So while men are out here flexing, it's crazy. And so here we go. So where does this superiority complex come from? And I think it's really rooted in patriarchy. Men are taught from a young age that they are providers, protectors, the leaders. And while there's nothing wrong with being a provider or protector, it doesn't mean you're entitled to special treatment. Relationships are partnerships, not hierarchies. It's just what it is. It's the truth. But some men don't see it that way, right? They think the role as a man automatically makes them the MVP of the relationship. And when things go wrong, they blame the woman. They're like, she's not supportive enough. She's not appreciative enough. Homie. Maybe you're just not giving her anything to appreciate, bro. It's not just about dating. It's about how we view gender roles and relationships. It's about how we teach boys and girls to interact with each other, because we keep teaching boys that they're entitled to special treatment. We set them up for failure. And we keep teaching, and we keep teaching girls that they have to cater to men egos. We setting them up for resentment. And relationship, the truth is, the relationships is hard. They require communication, compromise, mutual respect. And if you're walking into a relationship with a superiority complex, you're already setting yourself up for failure, because no one wants to be in a relationship where they feel like they're less than. And you don't understand that. That's what y'all communicating over and over again. Drink some damn water. I'm cooking up today, God damn it.
The not bought on should be working on just
I'm cooking up today, God damn it. Stop playing. Shout out to the 145. Make sure y'all go over to the new channel. We are almost at where we need to be monetized again. One adversity ain't gonna stop no show. We're gonna keep on grinding, keep on pushing, keep on pushing. Thank you, everybody. Make sure y'all hit that like and that goddamn share button as we open it. But we're about to open up the panel for a discussion. And I just want you to not just I don't want you just grabbing shit and throwing it against the wall. No, I want you to be able to substantiate, and we're gonna have conversation. That might be true, black man. It is a lot of confused people. Thank you, Gail. But you can still hit the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and all those things. I appreciate anybody that want to show me some love, support. Thank you. And we got one to, yeah. Shout out to you. Hey, what's up, the wild ones? How you feeling? Right? So what's the takeaway here? Like, man, I'm just saying like this. Hey, look, a lot of you men, it's time to check your egos at the door. Relationships. Let me, I'm gonna drop the link, because we 40 minutes in. That's pretty solid. It's not a thing. They swear. They swear that, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. JT. Shout out to JT from the what's the name of that group that be rapping? JT. What?
Oh, City Girls?
Yeah, shout out to JT from the City Girls in the chat. Shout out to you. Shout out to my guy JT. I know I like to start stuff. But here's the link. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to know where am I wrong at, where am I off at. I want to have the conversation. I want to open it up so we can have the conversation. So this is the takeaway, right? I just want men to start checking their egos at the door, right? Because relationships aren't about entitlement. They're about partnerships. And women don't settle for less than you deserve, right? Because at the end of the day, the only thing that should be superior in a relationship is that love and respect that you have for each other. That's it. That's it. Welcome to the show, my guy. Hey, good day, sir. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay, Sharon. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. What's your thoughts? What's your disagreement?
So pretty much I'm firmly in the blue pill camp. But the thing is, people don't understand that all their advice they want to hand out is really not with people because people are kind of different from each other. They're the same in some way and different in other ways, but there's just no algorithm for getting people getting a mate. They either like you or don't like you, and it's kind of random. There's too many variables, and people don't understand that. And they say, push out the advice and over again, and just say, well, it works, or you're not trying. It's just people don't get it. You can use it and it just won't work, and they won't believe it didn't work until you're dead, or they won't even care. It doesn't matter, or they don't dog food their own advice. It's irrelevant. So it's just this whole lot of variables floating around, but it's really simple. The couple picks each other.
I got a question for you. Do you think that men feel entitled?
Some of them do, others don't. And men in general, probably if we just put in that average, I'd probably slightly yes, because in fact in America, the Americans are pretty entitled anyways. So on average in America, slightly yes.
Also, welcome to the show, Miss Jalen. Good day. How you doing?
I said, let me come up here before it gets crazy. Good morning, Hank. Good morning, Kasim. Hi, Kasim.
Me too, Jalen. I wanted to come up here before it got too crazy too.
Hi, my love. Hi, Happy.
Hey, Des. Good day, good day. What's up?
What's up, Happy? How are you?
Hey, Cousin. Hey.
Hey, Happy. How are you?
I don't want to do too much clicking. I'm at work. All I have to say is that this conversation is crazy, especially saying that we have men dancing like monkeys. Like that's my mind is so blown. Anyway,
yeah, they call it clown maxing in the red pill lingo. I learned their language just so I can understand what the heck's going on, but really they don't really have anything. They just try to sell their books and their classes, but no one say even work for them, so don't buy.
So, Ms. Jalen, what do you think about
been around a long time?
So, Ms. Jalen, I got a question. How do you feel about men feeling entitled to relationships?
You have to remember at the end of the day, men are the head of us, right? They're like, oh my God, I don't want to sound I hate this conversation. I really do.
Take your time. Take your time, girl. Take your time.
You don't even know. Like, men are entitled to feel the way they want to feel. They're gonna do whatever they want as a woman. we have to take accountability of who we are, right?
Mm.
So as people, as who we are, because I just don't think this is not a man issue, Saran. You have women that want to be superior as well. It happens when there's a group of women, right? That's another whole nother conversation. Men are not entitled. They're entitled to do what they need to do for themselves. How they're gonna function, what they want to do, how they want to do it. But to come and tell me, because I get it all the time here, oh, you need to be this way, or you're attacking me. Oh, look how you are, like, how old are you? This, you know what I mean? Like, the way you approach things, you're gonna get what you give. If you attack me, I'm gonna attack you right back. And the thing is that you're not superior to me. I'm not gonna submit to you. You're not my man. I submit to my man, right? And the thing is, this is the constant superior thing that every woman, no matter where they are, if they're in the street, in a bus, online, wherever, women's supposed to submit to you. They always superior. I'm king, I'm God. Ooh, no, stop. If you choose correctly, people around you, it just goes across the board, right? When you're at work, if you have this attitude that you're entitled, nothing is going to go right for you. You get more bees with honey than you do vinegar.
It really depends on who you are in the first place. Like, the president goes around like he's entitled, and it works for him. But he had a lot of things working for him before he was born that made it just continue to kind of work.
Hank, you telling me that the president has the right to be a bully because he's a man and he's running a whole entire country?
He had the privilege to be a bully his whole life, and it worked out for him. I'm not saying
Hank,
it's not repeatable.
Hank, do you know how stupid that sounds? Did you just hear yourself? Is that a talk?
Yes, I know how stupid it sounds, but it's literally a fact. We just look at it.
So you dummy, follow the president. You think how far you gonna get?
No, I couldn't repeat. It's not repeatable. It's not repeatable. I didn't have a rich daddy. I'm not over 6 feet tall. I couldn't act like him and get the same success he could.
So you're saying to me, because he's the president of the United States, he's entitled to do what he's doing? Oh, he has
no. It's in the reverse. It's because he just things worked out for him where he could feel entitled and he still gets by.
He has a marker. And he signs his name. He has a marker, a pen, and he signs his name. And he's telling you what to do. It's not just the woman, it's the man too.
Yeah, I have a pen too, but it doesn't mean I had the same privileges as he does. It's just, it worked out for him. It doesn't necessarily mean it worked out for me if I repeat his behavior.
Hey.
What I think it is that like no matter what, people still get caught up. Men still get caught up with, even men that do not subscribe to the red pill incel and emancipate. They still get caught up with the rhetoric, and that's the real issue. And they like, hey, well, and they either gonna put themselves in a real boastful situation where I'm 6 foot, I make this kind of money, I'm doing this, and so therefore majority of women should be at my feet, or they'll say, well, I'm not 6 feet, I don't have privilege, and then they put themselves in a shell. And that is the issue with all of these men that's out here boasting these lies, and saying that, and putting other men to have this entitlement factor on them just because they're men. It is a problem that we see is an issue in the dating market, right? Women are saying that they are afraid of risk, financial problems, physical problems, emotional problems, and men are saying, hey, the problem is that she don't got no etiquette. She didn't text me back fast enough. The reason why she like this is the difference of the mentality in dating. One is dating like they running a marathon, and the other one's like, hey, I need to lace up my shoelaces.
Here's
But
the
you
thing:
know what I?
women have a legitimate
Hold on,
risk.
Hank. Let me jump with that. Kasim jumping. I want to get Happy in there and Scam Like in there as well. Go ahead, Kasim.
You know what I'm drawing a conclusion on. I'm drawing a conclusion that these men that are on the internet here, they're talking all of these talking points.
Mhm.
Um, and if they happen to be in a relationship, right? Talking these talking points. And more times than not, their spouse, whoever it is, know that they're on the internet talking like this. And she is a woman. She's hearing all of these things and she's ingesting all of these things. So when he clicks off the button, he's the total opposite. He's the sweetheart, the nice guy. He's probably he's simping a little bit for her, doing all the things that he tells the blueprint not to do, because he understands that being involved in a relationship in a woman, there's no way that she will stay with you if she knows you have that particular mindset and that view about women. So I'm putting two and two together. Like, yeah, these guys that come on the internet, they talk all these talking points, and they say all these things about women. I bet you, when they're with their girl, they are not like that because they don't want to lose that
He
woman.
wrong. Casino
In
wrong. Feed my
regards,
time.
in
He wrong again. What's up,
Eat a man,
Casino?
eat a man. You mean to tell me that a man that is on this platform in a relationship with a woman, spewing all of these points,
Yes.
that
Yes.
wait a minute, that she
No,
won't feel
he's
some
right.
type of way, and he has to prove to her that he's not that man on the
No,
internet.
see, let me tell you what it is. They think that they was special and they got a special woman and she's different. Listen, like if you listen to how they talk, they think, I'm telling you, I hear it all the time. They're like,
Mm.
well, all the married men must be the lucky ones. All the men with women, it's like, you know what? We just got lucky. And now I got millions of lucky people around the world that they think that they got a different one. When they really talk, it's almost like when I hear women talk about men, they think their son is different. Like they be talking this like not my son, and the men think the same way. They're like not my woman. I'm just talking about the other women out there. So I treat her different because I think she's different. That's all I'm saying, Kasim.
I don't know about that. I'm pretty good at knowing how women are, and women are not going to sit there and hear this rhetoric from another room, and she's in another room, and then you come out that room, she's just kind of looking at you like, okay, but you treat her totally different. I mean, come on, fam.
I'm
Come
just
on,
telling
man.
you
You
that
have
That's
to.
it's the reason
And
that
so,
room
and
soundproof.
hold on,
So,
Edie, man.
Hold on. I
I
want to
want
just
to
respond.
hold on,
Let me
Edie, man.
one
So
second.
also, I want to say, like, so this is another problem. This is the entitlement. Like, either man is actually talking a little bit towards the entitlement problem, right? Because the man actually believe because of what he is, that's why the woman is doing these great things. He think that he the special one, and because he's so special, that the woman is cooking and cleaning, not because the woman is actually a cooking and cleaning type of character woman. Like she is, that's what she is. That is her core values, that she is a nurturer. She's taking care of things. It's because he's providing something. That's why she's doing. Where we all know we have people that, hey, we don't know how she did it, but Thanksgiving dinner was on the table. Right?
so
Because
I
that's
have
how that woman was. And if she just found a decent man, it would just be a bigger dinner table. You know, it'd be a bigger plethora of food that would be there. This
yes.
Yeah,
is the
but
problem.
So I have
so
a counter.
hold on 1 second. I just want to say this thing. So what really happened? They go to work for 8 hours. He go down there in his man cave or in that room, and he yell for 5 hours, and he sleep for the other 6 hours. I'm telling you, like it works for their relationships because they don't even talk to each other. He yell at us. He go to work, and I'm telling y'all, like when you really look into it, them two don't even have an interaction. Her bills getting paid. I'm just telling you what really happened. If she know who he is, she got no problem with him yelling. Just don't yell at her.
Mm.
So basically, their relationship dynamic is pretty much, it's not it's it, they it's not they're not there's not a closeness to it. They're not close
Yeah,
with each other.
yeah. For
Yeah,
example,
they go
Stephen
on dates
Crowder.
every 2 weeks. You know, they do all the minimum, but they don't normally spend that much time together.
Mm.
So she could deal with a man like that if she don't have to really spend that much time. Well, they might have sex, they might go on dates, but for the yelling part, he get that out on him. This is his therapy. He just come yell at y'all and then go back to her.
Yeah, he just
Yeah,
being
but
proud of
yeah,
it.
but eat a man, eat a man,
I want
eat a man.
29.5.
Either man, there's no way in the world that a woman that is sitting in the next room hearing this man yell and denigrate and talk about women the way that he's talking about them, that she's cool with that intrinsically. There's
She
no
is
freaking
okay.
way you
I'm
can tell me
telling you. I'm
Women
that.
have their own
telling you,
No
bro.
opinions,
way.
Gene.
Listen,
They're not
listen.
a monolith. They have their own opinions.
All right. So also
Yes.
let me open it up because other people want to try to jump in. Go ahead, Voice of Venus. I see you was trying to jump in there as well. But the problem is that no, if I'm talking crazy about women in general, there's no way that my wife is not gonna be like, so what is it that you think about me? And now that's gonna spark up conversations where it's gonna put you in a crazy light because now you're gonna have to stand on something that you have said that was reckless about women. And she's like,
Right.
so
And
that's how
then
you
you
look at
right.
me?
And then your action, Sharon, you have to do extra to convince her that you're not that man. Come on,
Um,
y'all.
Come
good
And
on.
morning.
that's assuming she
Can you
doesn't
hear
agree
me?
with all the stuff. There's a couple of women that agree with all the stuff.
Okay. So
Um,
go ahead, Venus. We're gonna bring Venus in there. What's up, Bolo TV? I believe Scam Likely want to jump in there as well. Go ahead, Venus.
good morning. Can y'all hear me?
Again before she goes because I was next.
I'm
Hello,
sorry, Happy. Yes, I got
Oh,
you.
happy. Don't do
and
it
then you're
today.
gonna
We
throw Scam
apologize
before
from
me, and
I,
Scam was
the
asking me like,
manhood. Hold on. We all
okay,
got to
hold on.
clean it
apologize
up,
to
We,
the
just
we,
stage.
clean it
hold
up.
on.
Nobody asked you, E. Be
Hold on. Hold
quiet. I'm
on.
talking
Hold
to
on.
Hey,
mine.
Happy, I'm entitled.
Hold on. Hold on. So you Happy? You have a problem with the way I'm running the show?
I just asked you a question. These other people started jumping in, so if you couldn't hear me because they were jumping in, that's on that. That's
Okay,
on
I
them.
got
That
you.
ain't got you to do with me. I was talking to Siobhan, not E the man.
I got you. All
I
right.
just
Go ahead.
apologize from the brotherhood. I'm
All
sorry.
right,
Go
all right.
ahead. Happy.
Oh no. She was gone, but I'm just saying
I'm
Scam is
trying
not
to have.
gonna
I'm
go
trying
and
to
hit
have
me
a
too and
conversation.
everybody else.
I'm trying to have a
I'm
conversation.
entitled. Go
All
ahead.
right. Okay. I'm gonna start dropping you. Y'all just gonna act.
Whatever.
Happy. I know you got something to say. I know you didn't stop us and not got nothing to say. Go, Happy.
Excuse me. I
Why do
asked
y'all?
Siobhan a
Why? Okay.
question.
Why? Okay. So I gave an order of who needs to talk. Why y'all trying to redirect how I want my show to go?
Because Venus
I don't
left.
need nobody to help me and tell who needs to start talking. I don't need help with that.
I'm
Please
sorry.
don't
I'm
do
saying
that.
sorry to everybody there. I'm sorry to Sharon. Sorry. You forgive me?
Oh my god, this is crazy to me. Go ahead, Happy. You want to speak? Go ahead, Happy.
No, I actually asked when the order because I wanted to make sure you weren't gonna put everybody ahead of me.
Okay,
That
go
was
ahead.
it. I was not in a rush to quote
Okay.
unquote go next. Is this other people started jumping in, and then that's how we got here now,
Okay. So
which is sick and sad.
Okay.
Okay, so
What would you like to say on the topic?
I'm gonna wait till either man goes.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Let's
Sharon.
have
Run your
off
show.
response for 2 minutes. That sounds fun.
Welcome to the show, Bolo TV. What's your thoughts?
I think, first of all, salutations, everybody. Thank you for having me on. Hello, ladies. How you doing? I think that cats get caught up into entitlement, man. Especially when you are a husband. Being a husband is not an entitlement; it's a service. And I think we get caught up with entitlement versus equity, right? When we look at equity, equity is about fairness, and there are positions that I'm going to play and positions that she's going to play. Now, again, gender roles can be fluid, especially in this day and age now, right? It's not like back in the days, way back in the days. Gender roles can be fluid, right? So if my woman if she know how to fix cars better than I do, guess who's changing the oil? She is. If I cook better than her, guess who's cooking? I am. So I think the conversation gets kind of convoluted. I think that, we need to be talking about the position of a man and as far as leadership, integrity, character, intention, direction, leading with sincerity, leading with scholarship, understanding, empathy and sympathy, all these different things that, in this day and age, we're looked at as being weak if we do exhibit or if we do show. So again, I've said this on your show before and I'll stand to it. The man's job is to worry about the kingdom. The queen's job is to worry about the king. And that's how it should work, because when I start worrying about myself, then we leave the door open to selfishness, right? So if I'm worried about my wife and she's worried about me and we're continuing to work that way, selfishness doesn't reign. So, as long as we continue to argue and point fingers at who's to blame and who's to blame, opposed to looking in the mirror and saying, what dysfunction did I bring to this situation, we're not going to get nowhere. It's just going to be a circular conversation that we always have every day, every week.
I like that. Scam Likely, what's your thoughts?
Somebody else can go before me.
Okay, I'd love to. Thank you very much. Okay. Initially, I agree with what Miss Jalen said and what Kasim said in the beginning. For the most part, back and to just the end of what Bolo just said, as far as it goes on and on and on, that's the only part. But I don't agree with why he said it. But we already understood that, it's gonna go continuously on and on because people aren't being accepting of the fact. But I agree with what both Kasim and Miss Jalen said. And to take it a little step further, I hate the fact that people try to ignore it or make it a joke. And what I mean by that is, okay, you hear the facts, but you ignore the facts. And then back to what Bolo said, that's the only way it's going around and around, is because people keep ignoring it. They don't want to do anything with it. They refuse to believe it. And my thing is this, right? To all the men out there that think they're so superior and all of this and all that, how about you guys just go do it on your own? Don't speak on a woman. Don't ask for a woman. Don't think about a woman and see how far that gets you in life.
Awesome.
Can I respond to that, Sean?
Sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Sure.
This, my response to that, because I didn't hear the whole, topic on what Kasim or Jalen was saying. So just hearing portions of what Happy said, we have to understand that there are positions that men play and there are positions that women play. We can't convolute the conversation and say that, we're equal. We're not at all. We're not equal. There's no man or no woman on this planet that is equal, right? There are no people equal here. Everyone plays a position. And that's the problem that we're having. Men are getting upset of the position that they're playing because they're getting lazy, and there's a new standard of mediocrity. And they're pointing the finger at women, and women want to play the position of saying we want to be called equal to men. And then when they're put in that position and giving the equality of men, then they want to say, I'm a woman, I shouldn't have this. We can't do this. So there has to be there has to be positions. The eagle isn't on the higher on the food chain than the mouse because the eagle does anything different. No, the eagle is just there because the eagle is an eagle. The man is there because he's a man, and the woman is there because she's a woman. It has nothing to do with anything men do or anything women do. In the eyes of God, in creation of equality as far as love, we're all the same. But when it comes to position and purpose, we're not. There are things men are supposed to do, and there are things women are supposed to do. Now, does that mean that I treat you like you're less than? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. You are my wife. You are my emotional side. You are my facilitator. You are my counselor. When I can't pray for myself, this is what you do. You are who I protect and I am willing to die for. But to say that, there are men out there that want to put their foot on a woman's neck, it's not a testimony to the woman. It's a testimony to the man and in how inadequate he is in his real life. Because why would you want to put your foot on the throat of a woman that is supposed to be your wife when you are supposed to uplift your family? So we need to look at these men that do these things, these men that think that being a husband is an entitlement. I'm king, I sit on the throne. No, it doesn't mean that. When you're king, that means you worry about the kingdom. That's what your job is. So to think that because I'm a king, and that means everything stops around me, This is where that selfishness comes in. And this is where you have the pushback of women and wives saying it's not fair, it's not right. Because one, we're not supposed to do these things as men. And I won't drag it on.
Well, no, hold on, because I got a question. So, because I want you to answer what Kasim said or respond to what Kasim said. So, do you believe that men are one way online and a different way, or do you believe that women have accepted these men online that have women?
I believe that there are a lot of men that are one way online and a different way in real life. A lot of these dudes that come up on these channels, they're not the dudes that they are at home, that they say that they are at home. They're not. You know, from a counselor's perspective, Eda, man, when I hear a man claiming to be an alpha, he's really telling me that he's really a beta. And I'm just speaking these terms because this is what you guys talk. The reason why I say that is a man who stands on business don't need to say he stands on business. His vibe automatically knows that. You dig what I'm saying? And this is the example I'll bring in, and then I'll let it go. I'm sure a lot of us seen that movie Booty Call, right? Remember when Vivica A. Fox was talking with Jamie Foxx, and then the triad Godfather walked in, and he was smoking a cigar, and he wasn't supposed to be smoking a cigar. And then that's when my man Jamie Foxx walked over to him and said, "Listen, man, I'm trying to impress my girl. Can you please put the cigarette out?" Now, because this man is the Godfather, could have wiped out Jamie Foxx. The Godfather, he can point at him, have him killed. You know what he did? Put the cigarette out. See, being a man is knowing that you have the power to do something, but still have the humility not to do it, right? So there's a lot that comes with just being a man. And when you hear these cats online, they're able to repurpose themselves online. And I guess that's what Kasim was saying. They're able to repurpose themselves online to get a certain amount of viewership, amount of certain subscribers. And when they go home, they're totally different, man. A lot of these cats, and I counsel them, a lot of these dudes that come up here and speak are not the men that they
Hold on,
claim
no.
to be.
I want to make sure, because I do agree with some of those. Do you believe when Donald Trump cut off the Twitter, when the cameras cut off, he's a different person?
No.
Like he's
I
not
think
that
that Donald
same.
Trump, no, I think he is who he is.
All
But
right, so
yeah,
I get what you said. You said maybe in this space. I got it.
right. I was
No,
thinking this
I
speech.
got you. Because I know people. What I'm saying is, I'm just thinking on the broadest. I know dudes who are a-holes, and
Right.
women just have accepted them as a-holes. That's just what those women have accepted. But you're saying in
Correct.
this space, I got
In
you.
this space. Now, if you're talking about broad like Donald Trump, then Donald Trump being an a-hole, that I wouldn't look at him as being sick. I would look at his wife as being sick. Because Donald Trump is an a-hole. He is
Wait,
who
what?
he is.
What you say?
I said I would look at her as being sick. Let me explain. The reason why I would look at her as being sick is because you have accepted this dude who's an a-hole and you live with it, right? So I look at you as being off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
No.
So
Okay.
No.
hold on.
Okay. Let me explain why. Let me explain what I'm saying. If Kasim is my brother, okay, and Kasim does not, let's say I live with Kasim, okay, that's my brother, all right, and I'm having a hard time with finding my way. And Kasim says, "Listen, Bolo, I got a spare bedroom. You can have the spare bedroom." And I live like a pig. Kasim, he's a clean dude. And he accepts me living like a pig in his home. Who's the problem? Me or Kasim?
I am,
Well, both of you.
because I allow it.
But I understand I'm the problem because I walked in with the problem, Hank. I walked in with it. Kasim is the bigger problem because he's allowing it in his home, in his area, in his domicile. He should take Bolo and put him to the side and say, "Yo, Duke, I'm not dealing with this." So his wife doesn't seem like an a-hole. At least when I see her speak, when I see her, I see the faces that she makes when he speaks. So she knows that her husband is an a-hole, but she chooses to live with it. She chooses to live with the accolades, the power, the money. So she accepts that. So she's the sicker one than him because he's just being him.
And you also have to, that was a good point, Bola. You have to take a look at, if you really look at it, at least from the outside, the dynamic of their relationship is there's nothing there. Everyone knows that relationship is hollow between them. You can't see any fire. You can't really see any intimacy in between them. And as you said, because the position is right and the lifestyle is
Yeah,
right.
I
She
don't
makes
think
a
that's a
choice like
fair. That's
It's
not a
not
fair
I'll go ahead
game.
and accept it.
It's an exchange.
Yeah.
No, but yeah,
No, that's not a
but either
fair
man, you
statement.
could no, either man, hold on for a second.
I can't believe I'm
When
listening.
couples when couples are together, like when me and my girl are out together, people see us and they smile. They compliment because they can see our energy between one another. When you look at couples, if the relationship is somewhat healthy, you can see an energy, a unison between them. That's
No,
an unspoken language that you can see and you can feel. When you look at Donald Trump and Ivanka, I don't really see that. I don't think most people don't see it.
but now you trying to compare black people with white folks.
No, I'm not.
Hold on,
You doing that?
hold on. No, listen. I done seen a whole bunch of presidents that we don't think that there's no fire in them, and then the people who we say we saw fire with was who? Michelle and Obama. But I ain't seen no fire in Clinton. Like it's a certain way they carry themselves. So I think it's unfair to say, hey, since they don't have the chemistry that black people have, that they don't love each other. I just think
It ain't
that's
about
unfair.
black people and white people either, man. It's not. It's people. People start
So
peopling.
what other president you seen had the fire?
I think that we're getting
Wow. The
convoluted.
Bushes.
I think the
George W.
conversation.
Bush, him and his wife, when they were together, you could see the energy that they have. You can see the lovingness that they had
No,
with
we
each
did
other.
not. I didn't see it.
Man, we don't know
And
these
you know
damn
what?
That good
people.
eye.
E-man, I saw it because I recognized it, right? Because I had that in my particular relationship. That's how I was
Amen.
able to see it.
And
So
that's and that's the problem that we're having right now. See, the problem that we're having, and this is why a lot of the times I try, these panels get really crazy because we start arguing branches opposed to dealing with the root. The problem is the sickness that these men have and the sickness that these women have, right? About self-love, about what your worth is. Because if I know what my worth is, I'm not going to tolerate anything less than, right? So if I know who I am as a man, I know what I need to help me to get to where I need to be, and I will search for that. If a woman knows who she is, she knows what she needs to do to help herself or help a man get to where she needs to be, and she's going to search for that. You don't become an NBA player or a basketball player when you join the NBA. The fundamentals and the foundation should be already in you when you get to that level, right?
Yes.
So you should have the foundation of being a wife and the foundation of being a husband before you actually get into husbandry or get into that vocation.
Yeah.
So the problem is we start looking at each other and saying, well, Kasim got a problem because he's doing this, opposed to looking in the mirror and saying, let me stop with Kasim and see where my dysfunction is. Because now when I can open up my eyes and see my dysfunction and my issue, it won't be a tit for tat or back and forth. And this is what these conversations become, because now when women come up, they start pointing their fingers and then men are pointing their fingers. And now it's a angered type of conversation opposed to let me see your perspective and where I can grow from it.
yeah,
So
but
So
Bola,
I,
we not
so I've been
angry.
I've been,
I
I've been on
just
a
think
spot. I've been
hold
talking
on.
over you.
I'm gonna say this, and Hank, and we're gonna give it right to you. I
Mhm.
just think it's a disservice for me to look at Bolo TV and tell Bolo TV that his wife and him ain't in love based off the outside. I just think that's a
I agree with
disservice
that.
to us. But
I
go
agree.
ahead, Hank.
Yeah, so I've been working for an actual counselor like you, Bolo, for like around 16 months on panel. And here's my big issue. You say people need to come and come ready and look at themselves. I look at myself over and over again. I don't really see it, and no one can actually give me an explanation. So that's why I'm going to focus on observable things and just say, well, we're completely different offline and online. Well, but just no way for me to prove it. And you can talk about the celebrities, but the celebrities don't actually disprove your notion. And one more thing with that, women have a valid concern to be afraid of men because men have like 50% more upper body strength than they do. So women have a very valid concern.
Well, here's the thing, Hank.
Hey, Sharon, let me know when I can get in.
I'm sorry, Dusto. If you want to go
No,
again,
you're good. Continue. Sharon, let
what,
me know when I can go in.
what I'm saying to you is I'm counseling about between 40 and 50 men and women. So what I'm saying to you is, again, I can't, what I observe here online for the few minutes that I'm talking with you isn't really something that I would, stamp and say, this is what it is, right? I would like to have a conversation with you to kind of gauge and see where you're at so that I can make a better recommendation or a better thought process on where you're at and what the issue might be that you bring to me when you and I converse, right, in general. So what I'm saying is, again, I agree with you. I can't say that Bush loves his wife more than Trump loves his wife, whatever. I can't. All I can tell you is when I see Trump act like an a-hole and I see the faces that his wife makes, she knows that he's an a-hole. I'm not going into how much they love each other. That's another conversation that I'm not willing to have because it's opinion, and I'm not going to argue someone's opinion, right? So when I see that she sees that here we go again, that's the faces that she makes. So she knows what type of man she's dealing with. You dig what I'm saying? So you know what you're dealing with. So if you don't make the changes or if you don't take a stand as a wife, as a husband, to say this is not what I'm going to accept, at the end of the day, you live with it and you shut your mouth, right? You don't say anything. So the point of the matter is, it's easier to say Sharon is the problem than saying you are. Because when you realize that you're the issue, you know what you have to become? The solution to you. And it's easier to say Sharon is the issue because now we have to start going into discipline. We have to start going into things that have to correct our character and our integrity. And a lot of us are too lazy to do this.
So
It just sounds like you advocating for her to leave her husband because he's an a-hole.
It kind of does. And also, I want to say this, no, but also with her
not.
publicly showing face expression shows that she might be doing exactly what you are saying. And so, and that's why we cannot say that she is the problem for accepting, because clearly her face expression showing that she is not accepting. She's probably having conversations like, hey, you got to stop doing this, that, and a third. And she's actively working with her husband, and like what Eda Man saying, she don't want to leave her husband because maybe she feel that she is committed to her husband, so she don't want to just leave him. So I think that's where it gets difficult. Just like you being a counselor and you telling the person to do all the right things, but day to day they keep coming back and telling how all the wrong things that they did. It's not necessarily a reflection on you as a counselor, but it's a reflection on this person just want to stay in whatever that degeneracy is, or that negative thing that person want to project onto the world. And so she might be actively attempting to get him to move forward and be more of a generally nice guy.
Well, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Well, remember, we speak in general opposed to speaking, specific, right? We speak towards the rule opposed to the exception. What I am saying is, you're absolutely right. They can be actively working on whatever issues might be there. Absolutely, 100%. In general, the people that I do see, and I'm sure, the people that you guys might have in your life that you talk to and give, help to, a lot of the times we have to look at ourselves and understand what we're worth so that we can take that stand. And understanding what your worth means, now you're going to show grace towards that other person, because now when you can realize where you are, you then have all your power and faculties to understand where that man or woman is. And you're able to understand their flaw or whatever, and you're able to give them more grace and mercy, opposed to you not understanding where you might have been at one time.
Yes, and the problem is that you assume worth is purely psychological when we can verify empirically that worth is socially constructed. It's not. You can't. No man's an island. People. It can. Worth only exists in communities.
And also, we have 178 people watching on both channels. Please hit that like and that share button. We are almost at 500 subs. We are almost at monetization again. So please, I need your help with that. Thank y'all so much. And I think also when we have these conversations, we got to understand that men are usually the one that is trying to chase the woman. So that's how women get confused and get caught up in a man that possibly is a negative man, because he will have the mask on for at least 2 years. Some men could do it for. Some men could do it up to 5 years. And then by that time, 5 years in, you are mostly involved in this so-called degenerate type of man. And then now you got to make a strong decision when you're trying to, help him move into a better understanding, and you love the man, or you love the, love the relationship, or love the things that he provides. And the problem that I'm really having when I'm seeing is that majority of the men that are single, they feel like because they have a decent job or because they look decent, they get a haircut, that's when they say, hey, majority of women should be bowing down to me because I'm this good man. I'm good. Look at me. I don't even have friends that is this, that, and the third. But they're not realizing that, no, you still got to learn how to communicate and compromise with the individual. It don't got nothing to do with your job and you being 6 foot.
Well, that's the problem. We've dumbed down relationships so bad that, even with men, when I counsel a man, I tell them, listen, if your relationship is based off what you make and that's what you lead with, and that's your position in the home, what happens when you lose the job and she starts making the money? Does that make her the man? And this is when he actually sees, and I say, you got to understand, your position as leader is not just built off you being able to provide. It's built off you being able to sustain. It's built off you being able to spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually lead. It doesn't just only mean monetarily. And this is where it gets dumb, where you think that just because you're able to pay the bill, that makes me the leader. It doesn't at all. It does not.
But the couple has the privilege to determine the terms of their own relationship, though.
But even though they have the terms, there's still a universal thought process that goes through most relationships. There's still a universal foundation in most relationships. In other words, meaning if I'm upstairs with my wife and someone breaks into the house, the universal understanding is I'm going downstairs to go check that out. It ain't her, it's me. In general. So when you're saying that it's based off, their own discretion, I get it, but there's still a universal foundation that all relationships are built on. And what we're trying to get these men out of is thinking that just because you make the money and that's it, that your character is flawed, your integrity is flawed, your connection to God is off, your leadership is off, and all that, it doesn't make you a man just because you know how to pay a bill.
So who gets to determine the terms of a relationship? Who determines the universal terms?
The universal terms is, at the end of the day, my job is to love my wife more than she can ever love me, because my job is to die for her.
You didn't answer the question.
Okay, so that's the problem, that majority of men are not willing to do that.
And that's the problem. The problem is you're saying who determines? God determines. There you go.
The problem is that
exactly.
No, I'm talking to Hank. I'm not talking to you, Sharon. I'm talking to Hank.
Like what you just said, right? So the problem is that men will hear you say that, and then they would try to boast that out as well, what you said, and knowing that in real life they do not believe that, they will not do it at all. They would not jump up in front and put their life on the line for their wife. And this is where the entitlement problem happens, right? Because you say it so well, they're like, yeah. And then now they go ahead and regurgitate that men is out there willing to die for their wives. Like, no, Bolo's willing to die for his wife. You're not even willing to do what you got to do to get a wife to die for. Therefore, majority of you men are not willing to die for your wife. You're not even willing to do what you got to do to become the man that attracts a woman that wants to be a wife.
But then society accepting to die for free, and it doesn't work that way. I'm not going to agree to that.
What do you mean die for free? What do you mean?
Well, I don't have a wife, so is there a good reason for me to die? I don't think so. But you're saying no, you have to be willing to die just so you can get a wife. And I agree with that, Sam's.
This is why the conversation, and again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. This is why the conversation becomes foolish, because I'm not dying for free. If I made a choice to make Miss Jalen my wife, okay, I made a conscious choice. That means that I've checked her integrity, her character. I've checked that she's a woman that multiplies what I give. I love this woman. So I'm not going to die, because I know that this woman is not going to put me in a situation that I will die for nothing. Now, if you are caught up with the woman that puts you in situations where you will die for nothing, then that's not a testimony on her. That's a testimony to you, because you picked her.
Yes, but I don't have a woman. But someone, like counsel like you would say, well, you have to be willing to die to get a woman.
I did not say
the
that.
expectations
No,
I'll die for
I
society for
did not
free,
say,
or I don't get one.
sir. I
And
did
that's
not
ridiculous.
say.
So hold on. So let me jump in right there. So
I need to get in here.
So, and this is why I'm saying that entitlement factor, right? As you can see, the entitlement factor is passing down to men that's not even in relationships. They feel like because they are a man, they are. So as a man say, "Hey, I'll die for my wife." Hey, but why should I die for that woman? What did she do? What did she do? What did she? What did she? What did she? Would she die for me? And this is the entitlement factor right there, Bolo. It's coming out in real time.
Yeah, and that's
In
the
real time,
problem.
and this is not just with Hank, but this is with a lot of men.
A lot of men.
They thinking that, hey, because I said this now, a woman is supposed to know.
But here's the thing, though, Sharon.
Your standard as a man is supposed to be your standard.
And here's the thing: if I'm of service, I'm not expecting anything back.
Right there we go.
When I help my brother, I'm not expecting anything back. I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart because that's my brother and I love you. When I help my sister, I'm not doing it out of you don't have to hit me back on the back end. I'm not doing that because then it wasn't genuine. I did it for something self-serving, and that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? I seen a deer run across, a baby deer run across the river, and the mother, an alligator was going to eat her. The mother swam right in front of the alligator and sacrificed her life for her child. Not a second thought. If I go according to you, Hank, what am I dying? That damn baby deer shouldn't have ran across the river. So she's gonna die. That's not what we do for each other. And that's the problem. I get your point. If it's a person that continuously puts me in a position, then I have to recalibrate and look at myself and say, I'm with this person and she continuously puts me in this situation. I have to see where something is wrong. And this is where her and I need to get counseling. We need to talk. We need to figure this out because it's not just throw her to the wayside or throw him to the wayside and pick a new one. It's not just like that. You dig what I'm saying? If I'm in it, I'm in it. If you're my brother forever.
And it's that similar. So we gotta end. And I think we gotta have men to start understanding this entitlement ideology that they have is a falsehood. It's not real. I think a lot of them, it doesn't matter what height they are, what level of status of money they have, and all these things. They all feel like they are entitled to these majority of women because you don't know if I'm rich. You don't know. I see millionaires drive around with just a t-shirt and a pair of, he don't look like he's, so they have all these ideas and they try to put themselves inside of other men, literally and figuratively. That's the goddamn issue. Go ahead, Scam Likely. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, what's going on? Shout out to Bolo. But I was just gonna say this. Most of this space, the foundation is failure. The foundation is men mad because they can't get the woman that they want or something is wrong. So expect them to come as if something is wrong. Unfortunately, there's profit and other stuff. And people know just in business with algorithmic thinking, people like to continue to hear the same thing and they like to feel a certain way. Men don't like to feel like they're a failure. So therefore, tell them it's the woman or tell them something. And then tell them a couple of fake solutions like go in the gym and get your money up and it's going to fix something. But they go in the gym and get their money up. Now they're sending $100 super chats instead of 50s and still having the same problem. Now I'm ugly on the weekend, so I can't get any women. Only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm ugly. I just came to those terms. But 95% of the relationship conversation is not about relationship. Only 5%. Real relationship starts with like in 3rd, 4th grade with them notes. I like you. Do you like me? And then the girl says yes or no. Or the girl starts acting funny in a certain way. And then you know that she likes you. And then y'all go off of that energy, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. That's where relationships are really supposed to start. So the 10-year-olds know more than the adults do. They know who they like. They know the type of energy and they know how they want to be treated. Then as they get older, all this corruption and junk comes and you get 568 talking points and 2 of them make sense. You like somebody or you don't. They like you or they don't. Then do you align with each other? They all usually agree. People who skate usually like to go skating together. People who play basketball like to do it together. People go to the gym like to do it together. Or there's a form of opposites attract. Unorganized man, organized woman. Hey, can you organize this for me? Thank you. You know what? I can do this. You can do that. Let's work together. That's real relationship. Now, I will say this, and it's all communities because y'all like saying that black can't do nothing and white is gold. White, black, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, Yugoslavian, other countries, which I've had these conversations in English and Spanish, men and women do not usually get along. Most people are growing up with parents, and y'all talk about 1952. They didn't get along back then. They lied to you. But the real conversations aren't taking place. And I've asked a lot of people, you growing up, however and where you grew up, were you taught? Did y'all have monthly meetings in your household of how to have a functioning relationship? 90% of people say no. 95%. The other 5 are they lying? Or they picked 3 things, or their parents taught them something that wasn't even right, and their parents were struggling to keep their own relationship together. If they had both parents in the household. The ones who didn't, the divorcees, the parents didn't tell them why they really got divorced until it was 28. By then, they've been an adult 10 years, and they were running out here crazy for those 10. But some foundational things that aren't actually being taught and actually even being talked about. 2 people liking each other. 2 people being on the same page. Let's just say he makes $488,000 a year, and he's 6'7", and it's the dudes you want. Well, let's say that woman, because everybody, just because you're black and you have a job, you qualify for a 21-year-old virgin. Let's say she's sitting right there on the couch with you. Now what happens? You got to spend 8 hours per day, 8 days, or however many days for the rest of your life getting along with this person. Are you really equipped to do that? And is this the person that you can do that with? That conversation never happens. Instead, it's, oh, the wigs. And I participate in it because I'm a troll. But hey, if they're going to talk about the bullshit, I might as well get my cut. But all women's, all child support, all the attorneys, the legal systems, the oppressions. Look, she don't like you, man, and you don't like her. And lastly, most people have low self-esteem. The majority of people would rather live in a form of a fiction than a life that they really believe. That's why they're talking about celebrities and all this other stuff that you'll never be and never meet. And even the celebrities got low self-esteem. Make that make sense. I'll land my plane there. I could be here all day.
But I think also all those things that you said is good. And I think that's something that we really need to have a conversation about, the low self-esteem. There's a lot of men out there displaying low self-esteem. If men are the ones that is normally, in general, the ones that is chasing the woman, we got to fix that fact, because they are using these other things as their self-esteem. Their job, their car, their jewelry, their watch, and the possibility of women that they slept with. They're using all those things as a false confidence. That is the issue, and this is where I believe the entitlement comes in. This is why a lot of men, they would say, "Oh, women want the bad guy," right? And they would say, and they really believe that woman that is treating this bad guy nice, the only reason why she is treating him nice because he is bad. And this is the entitlement part that is the problem. Men actually believe that because they are doing something that the woman is doing it. And not think that, no, she's just a good woman with a horrible man. This is kind of goes back to the Donald Trump and I don't know her name, Ivanka, right? She might be trying to move him into better directions and move him into a better light. However, she is attempting to move him better, but he is a horrible person. She's not with him because he's horrible. He's just a horrible person. She's a good person that's with a horrible person.
Yeah.
Well, some of it comes from pain. Like, figure people who don't get what they want. And I'll say this. I've been in households where I heard the actual adults talking. Boy, all you got to do is graduate from college, my brother. And when you get your degree in your hand, the women's is going to come flocking to get you, my brother. I heard them conversations. So they're teaching them that, man, a man's supposed to. They're taught this stuff. And then when it doesn't work, they don't know what to do. Like, hold up. You said that all these engineers was coming and it's going to take care of me. The woman mad, how did Raw Dog Ronnie get over here? Or the man's like, hey, man, I'm an engineer. And the woman, they over here dating Slick Dick Jimmy. Now they mad,
Hello.
and everything comes from pain. And a lot of their trauma responses, you know what? I'm gonna beat her over the head with this briefcase when I get it. So they're looking for the weakest woman they can control because the last one got away and Slick Dick Jimmy got her. Or they saw this with their parents or their uncles or whatever, and they think it's a form of the right thing to do. Or someone just damn crazy. It's the men's and the women's. But remember, a common language is pain. It's
So I
one
think
way
that's another
everyone
problem that we have
understands.
too, Scam, is that we keep saying it's both parties.
Yes.
The problem is that one party is reacting to the other one. So we cannot say it's both parties.
But we can say it's both
No,
parties.
both parties are still participating.
Yeah.
No, this is if I slap you, you slap me, we cannot say, oh, we both fighting.
That's the definition of a fight.
Actually,
I get that. No, the problem is one is attacking and one is defending. That's what's really happening.
No, Sharon, on Tuesday, that's what's happening. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and next month when it's still going on,
that's
both
fine.
parties, and even the kids and the dog.
Problems, right? So the problem is that again, one person is attacking and one person is defending, and everybody wants to say, well, they both fighting. No, that is not true. This is why we have laws. This is why somebody could get away with self-defense. Yes, one was defending themselves. So no, they both wasn't fighting.
No,
so this is not a boxing match. This is the problem.
In a one-time situation, yes.
This is the entitlement part that happens, right? Hey, I'm trying to have. They like, oh, but she wanted to do it with me, and then he busts another her. She wanted to do it with me. Like this is the problem. The men have to take responsibility and stop saying that she was a participant when she is reacting.
Well,
no, Sharon, I agree on a one-time situation.
I've been listening, Sharon. See, the problem with what you're saying, in my opinion, Sharon, you're trying to say functional people are getting with dysfunctional people. And I don't think that that's the case. I think two dysfunctional people are getting together. When we try to start broad brushing and saying that these women are good, there's nothing wrong with them, they just chose a bad man and they're not dysfunctional, that's the part that I disagree with your argument.
Right, and so therefore I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the men are pursuing these women with this mask on, acting like they're good. And then when they get involved with them at a certain point where they children, this, that, house, apartment, car, whatever, that's when they real stuff come out. That's her.
That's
now
partially
you see the real me.
That's partially
I'm thinking both
but
parties
still
are
both
pursuing.
parties. I can say the man is initiator, and they're supposed to be a form of a leader. And at the end of the day, they went to go and pursue. They ironed their best shirt, went to the club. I give you that. But Tuesday, you found out this dude was a jive turkey. If you're still there on Thursday, now you're a willing participant. Both parties responsible, especially when you drag kids into it.
And that is the problem. This is a part of the male entitlement as well. That's the
How
problem.
is that part of the male entitlement? Because you also advise your daughters of what to do as you advise. I said the men are initiators. Their help should be more responsible.
That's it. So they are the problem. So again, they are the problem. That's it. Frankenstein is not the problem. The person that created Frankenstein is the problem.
They're both the problem. The man is more of the problem.
Thank you. And this is the problem that men cannot.
I said men are more of the problem.
They keep trying to explain that the person that created Frankenstein and Frankenstein going outside and doing things, that Frankenstein is the problem. He is not the problem. Frankenstein is not the problem. I got it. The person that created it is the problem. Everybody else is reacting. This is the issue that we have, and this is the part of the male entitlement that I have a problem with. Nobody want to just put the problem on the person that is the problem starter. If somebody slap me and I slap them back, we cannot say, well, y'all both participated in. No, you cannot.
Sharon, if that was the truth, only one man would be the problem, because there's one man leading and a bunch of people following other men. You'd say, you know what? It's just the man who created it. The other men following are not the problem.
Well, here's the issue.
They're participating in it. They're the problem. Then the women following are the problem. Then the kids are the problem. Even the dog and the goldfish.
But what Sharon's getting to is the catalyst. And here's the thing, how the conversations get convoluted, right? Frankenstein was the creator, right? The name of the monster was Monster.
Right.
It was Frankenstein's monster.
But you know what I meant. Correct.
No. What I'm saying is even the title. in the title, they're telling you where the catalyst and where the problem, the root of the problem starts from. It was Frankenstein's monster. The monster had no name. A lot of the times we try to call the monster Frankenstein. Frankenstein was the guy that created the monster. So now to what you're saying, Dusto, Scam, yeah, they're reacting or responding to the environment that Frankenstein created. So yes, we're going to deal with them too, but we got to deal with the root. This is why I was telling you that a lot of the times we have conversations. So Frankenstein is the issue. Why the hell did you create this mindless monster? And now everybody's freaking out and tripping out. You want to blame them? No, we're going to get to them, but they're reacting to the environment that you created. So if I leave Dusto in charge of a zoo and I say, listen, I need you to take care of the zoo, and you don't clean the cages and all this stuff, the animals are going to acclimate themselves to the environment you put them in.
But women are smart creatures. This is why this is such a bad example.
What I'm saying to you
like
is
this, like they are they have a mind, they have a will, they have the ability to do these things. So I get that we can say we gonna hold men accountable, but a lot of these issues come way before men actually even become in the picture. If we're being honest,
I don't agree with that.
I agree. I agree.
All right, so hold on. So let me tell you why I disagree.
Part.
So this is why I
agree with
disagree.
you to a certain extent.
Can I disagree with it? Let me disagree with it. Crabs, what do they do in a bucket?
They pull them down. They keep them from escaping.
Okay, now do they do the same thing in the ocean?
No.
Thank you. So stop blaming the fucking bucket and saying crabs are pulling each other down. Crabs do not do that. That's not natural for them. It's the people that put those crabs in this new environment, which is the bucket, and they are all scrambling. It ain't because of anything else.
So hold on. I just want to make sure. So you believe a dysfunctional? Never mind. I ain't gonna even ask you that. Okay, it's just men. The women, we ain't gonna have no accountability for the women and their action, even though we say.
Okay, I have a question.
So we saying that. So we understand that crabs is pulling each other down. But what is the reason why those crabs is pulling each other down?
They pulling each other down because they don't want the others to escape. They want them.
No, that's the problem. No, they are pulling each other down because they was put in a bucket. The person that put them in a bucket created that.
No, the point. Okay, so but let's talk about humans because we keep trying to go to things.
Technically, the men are crabs too. Unfortunately,
no.
We can just blame Satan. I'm just saying.
But y'all understand the overarching point, right? So it's a metaphor. So what I'm saying that the men are creating the place for these women to act the way how they acted. The men are engaging in sex. Take the condom off, bust a nut at her, and then they say, hey, we are both willing participants. That's why you got pregnant. You are the reason why she got pregnant. It don't got nothing to do with her.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. If we're gonna do that, we could just like Sam said, we could say it was Satan. Satan gave me like this idea. We could keep passing the buck and say that it's somebody else is the reason. It was my father. It was my upbringing. Like this idea that it starts with the man that's in that situation. We got to hold each person in the situation accountable.
Sharon.
I agree that the men are the primary responsibility and more responsible, and as the initiators. And I'm definitely not a blame women's person, but I'm blaming her for what her actual role in participating is. And I do agree, if you put them in the wrong environment, they're going to act worse. Just like we can keep saying it was the parents' fault because they put the man in the wrong. We can keep going up.
No, you can't. You can't. So again, this is a problem when we don't stay to the subject, right? Then now this is what Bolo said. Now I gave it, you just added water to it, and this is the problem. When we just stick to the issue that we are having, you cannot move it up and say it's God and the devil.
That was the same thing as the Frankenstein example.
No, it's not, because Frankenstein created the monster.
Satan created the monster.
So now everybody that is running away from the monster or trying to kill the monster is not the problem. Frankenstein is the problem. I was correct. I stand corrected. Right? So Frankenstein, the scientist, he created the problem. Frankenstein is the problem.
So here's the thing, Sharon. I didn't create the patriarchy. How am I supposed to fix it?
Not the person that's interacting with it. If somebody slapped me, I'm not fighting. I'm defending myself.
but I didn't create the patriarchy. How am I supposed to fix it? How am I responsible?
I don't understand why this is such a problem of a concept to understand who is doing what.
Because I didn't create the patriarchy. How am I responsible for fixing it if I didn't create it?
The reason why is because you are participating in it. You are doing the same thing that they're doing. Just because this is the entitlement.
I'm not even married.
Hold on, this is the entitlement.
I'm not married.
Part.
How am I participating in the patriarchy?
This is the entitlement part. If you are pushing out the same ideologies as every other man that is a part of this negative thing, whatever that is, you are part of it. So that's why they get mad when I call them rim bros. Red pill, incel, manosphere, these no good suckers. They all have the same ideology, whether they're married, single, young, or old. It doesn't fucking matter if you have
you just proved our point.
They are still pushing and producing the same outcomes. This is a problem, and men feel entitled that I am different. But you are doing the same thing.
But Sharon, you just did it.
Me while I am talking? I don't understand that. I don't stop y'all from talking. Stop it. Have some respect for and responsibility that you are doing it.
I'm not doing it.
I'm talking while I'm clearly. I want to finish my thought. That's why I continuously to talk. This is the communication part. This is the compromising part, right? That men are not willing to do. You see the person talking, trying to get a full thought out. And you want to try to find a space to jump in, even though I didn't even breathe yet. You're trying to jump in before I even breathe. It's not even a good spot to say, oh, well, you took a pause. I'm literally talking.
You're bad communication.
Where do you get this bad communication about? Because you feel like you are entitled to interrupt me because your thoughts is more important than mine.
Okay. You blame me for something I don't have authority over. I'm not responsible for the patriarchy. I didn't invent it. So how am I supposed to fix it?
You're being rude.
By not participating in it.
Okay, all right, cool. Perfect. Hold on right there. That's a good point. That means that applies to women too. She cannot participate in the relationship. Like we can't say that men have the choice not to participate in the patriarchy and then say that women don't have the choice to participate in the relationship. You literally just did it.
No, so
you said the men have to be accountable.
So this is where you get it confused, right? So now you are adding the relationship part, right? So now when you add the relationship, the man, he convinced the woman to be in a relationship. Again, you cannot blame the person that is reacting to the person. She didn't know that he was part of the patriarchy, that he was misogynist, that he was doing all these things. These women didn't know that Shannon Sharp was going to take it.
But no, the point that I'm saying,
what I'm saying is the patriarchy. The women didn't. Majority of women don't know that Shannon Sharp had a 10-year. He got 10 different arrests of him doing this thing to women. So when he's out there and he's like, "Hey, look, I got this big buff body, right? I'm tall. I got money. I got status. I got fame." And when they go and they start having a conversation, he presents himself in a really good way. And then he'd take the mask off and he'd take their goddamn booty. And then we saying that it's the woman's fault for getting her booty taken.
So the point.
Hey, Sharon, you're talking about a person in position of power.
Hold on, no. Based on what you're saying, the patriarchy is the bucket and the men are the crabs. Like if men wasn't in the patriarchy and they was in the ocean, based on your example, they will react different. So when we start trying to hold on, I'm about to land it. So when you start trying to say, hey, we can push the responsibility somewhere else, me and Oscar can say, I didn't choose to be in this patriarchy. I didn't choose to be in this bucket. This is why this crab in the mentality is because of the bucket, the patriarchy.
Hey, Sharon.
That's not what he meant.
If there was Godzilla coming across, stomping the earth or whatever, more people would be killing each other than coming after the monster. And that would be actually bad behavior that we're talking about. The men's, women's, the kids, the dog. They wouldn't all be on one page, let's do this. They won't. And that's the very thing that's happening right now.
Why should men be the leaders? I bet you we could all answer that, right? Why should they be the leader?
Because I feel like a leader.
The leader should be the leader, not just because you're a man. So I disagree with that as a whole anyway.
All right, that's fine. That's good. And so therefore you are probably not a part of the patriarchy, right? But
I'm not.
So the problem is majority of men, what would they say?
Because I'm a man, but it should be because you're a leader.
And there go the entitlement.
What about
It's-
my feelings?
And so there go the entitlement that majority of men, without proving that they are goddamn leaders, that they have any proof of concept of being this so-called leader. It's just because they're a man, they have a job, and they could maintain a house or apartment or whatever that they maintain it on their own that nobody else knows about if it's good, clean, or bad, or whatever. But because of that reason, they are the de facto leader without proving anything. This is the entitlement part. This is why a majority of men are looked at as lazy, because they feel like they are providing and protecting, where they haven't, out of the 10 years they with the person, never showed any protection.
So let me ask you a question about leadership, because I might be wrong on it.
But the conversation is not about leadership per se. It's about men being entitled to other leaders. They will look at somebody like Bolo. And Bolo said he'd die for his wife, and it's somebody that do not have a wife, and say, see, this is what men do. Where he's not even willing to put himself in a position to have a wife and treat her properly. He's missing a whole bunch of steps that Bolo went through to say why he is willing to die for his wife in the first place.
That makes sense. Taking credit for somebody else. I got that.
This is full circle.
I agree with that also.
Yeah, this is full circle, because the only way I can prove that I'm worthy of getting a wife without having one is to die for the society. So I'm never going to get one.
What? What are you talking about?
What?
No, listen. So when me, go ahead, Jalen.
I gotta go. I can't do this no more. You guys have a good day. Have a good show. I'm going down in the comments. Bye-bye.
Hey, can you speak some dust before you go? Oh well, she's out.
No, hey, hold on. Let me help you understand, Hank. So I understand when I got a wife, the responsibility that came with it as being a husband. And just one of the things is, if something happened, I have to be willing to lay down my life, right? That doesn't mean that automatically gonna happen just because I had to die for her. That don't mean that I can get a wife. It's just that I think what Bolo was saying earlier, and Bolo can speak for himself, is that it's just certain things come with when you actually take on a wife that you have to be willing to do. Not saying this is gonna happen, but you gotta be willing. It's not like how you just assume that you automatically have to die so you can't get a wife. I don't even understand how that mindset.
Yeah, it's not my assumption, because you say, well, if you're willing to die, then someone will just magically know that and come to you, and that's absurd.
Okay, so here's again. This is why we need to have a man's class. We need to have a man's class, man. We need to have a class where it's just men, and men get to talk. And when I say men, I mean men. And the other guys listen and ask questions, because a lot of the times cats listen with the emotional ear opposed to a logistical heart, right? They don't hear. What I'm saying is, you have to spend time. Dating and courting is two different things, and just bear with me for a second, right? Courting is you have a purpose in this relationship and what I'm doing. My purpose is I'm mindset for marriage. I'm not mindset just to smash. So any woman that comes into my vicinity, this is what we're dealing with. And if you can't handle that, it's cool. I'll just wait for the next one to come, or whatever it is. So this woman that I'm choosing to die for is the same woman who chose to give me submission. Submission is a choice. It's a choice. You dudes ain't giving no women to submit to. Listen to this conversation. Right? Now, again, I dig what Eda Man is saying, and I agree with what Eda Man is saying. But when we're dealing with a leak in a house and a fire with the house, I'm going to attack the fire, because the fire will destroy the house much quicker. And in this scenario, men are the fire. Doesn't mean that we ain't going to deal with the woman. Doesn't mean that we're not going to deal with the monster. But we need to deal with Frankenstein. You know why? Because he can create another monster. Right now, all we have is one monster. If we don't deal with Frankenstein, we'll have 8. So the monster's running amok. We're going to try and contain the monster. Not saying that the monster ain't a problem. The monster is a problem, but Frankenstein created the problem, right? It wasn't sin until Adam took of the fruit. It was sin when he did it. Why? Because he was the head. So you guys that keep claiming that you want to be kings, czars, leaders, and all these different names and thinking that there's an entitlement to it, there's a sacrifice that comes with it. So we need to get ourselves together. Doesn't mean that we're not going to hold women accountable. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is listen, when a woman chooses to give you submission, it's not because she's choosing it because you make 6 figures. These women that are picking these dudes that got 6 figures, they're not submitting to them. It's a momentary situation until the next one comes. When a woman gives you submission, that means she ain't going nowhere. She's choosing to die with you, die for you if need be. Wherever you go, I go. Period. There's a reason for that. So your character and your integrity has to stand.
So you mixed up your metaphor because God's not the head in that scenario. God is Frankenstein. He created Adam. He created the apple. God is the Frankenstein.
Okay, first you're wrong. God gave Adam. He put him in leadership. See, this is what I'm saying to you.
Yes, the Frankenstein make the monster.
No, brother. He gave Adam a decision. I'm leaving you. And this is why guys like you would blame your wife.
I don't have a wife. How am I going to blame her?
What I'm saying is, guys,
how am I going to blame her if she doesn't exist?
I'm going to tell you, that's why I said guys like you, you're not listening. You need to listen.
So I'm responsible for other guys who aren't me.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. So let me clear it up. So this is what you're not what he said.
Sharon, hold on. Please. You represent those guys right now. So I'm not talking to you specifically, but to you in general. That you would blame your wife, opposed to you looking at yourself and saying, she is a mirror image of you. The same way when you have children, they're in school, and when the children act up, they typically say, it's got to be the parents. It's got to be the way the kids was brought up. In most situations, that is. It ain't all, but in most. So if my wife is acting amok and bugging out, I'm going to look at myself and say, why is my wife acting out? I got to look at me first before I look at her. Now, once I look at myself and I say, nah, I'm good. I'm doing what I need to do. Now I can earnestly, with sincerity, go to her.
So I'm responsible for a bunch of other men, or I'm part of patriarchy, even though I'm not personally benefiting from patriarchy. Okay, I'm obligated to go and capture a bunch of men, brainwash them to put them in your ideology, or I'm part of patriarchy.
And that's why, guys, we are in the position that we're in today. It's happening in real life, in real time. This is why. He's choosing to understand things from a child's perspective than understand it from a man's perspective. And
I'm asking clarification.
Cool. You've been clarified 2 or 3 times. And this is why women look at all of us this way, because, there's more dudes like this than dudes like us. And when these dudes run into these women and they lie, and I'm not saying you do, but they put on this false narrative and they grab these shit. By the time we get to them, we got to deprogram all the madness that these guys have put in them and all the trauma that we have to deal with.
So I'm asking you a point of questions, yes or no. Am I responsible for the minds of other men, what they think and what they do?
Yes.
Indirectly, yes.
You know why? Because I'm my brother's keeper. Because if I don't take care of Kasim's son, that cat might be the one that robs me in the street. That's the community. That's why we're in the position that we're in. There's no community no more, right? I'm responsible for Venus. Yes, if I see Venus in the street, yes, I'm going to help. That's my sister. You guys are my brothers. So if
yes, Bolo, help me, okay? Help me.
Then you're enabling patriarchy because those guys also exist while you exist. So you're benefiting from patriarchy too.
Say it again?
You're benefiting from patriarchy too because those guys still exist. You didn't clean up all the mess.
Listen, brother, I can only clean up in the proximity that I'm in, and that's the problem. You're coming in here with a situation, or you're doing what women do, and I'm not trying to compare, and I'm not trying to disrespect you. Women always come with the pessimism of a situation opposed to looking at the optimism of a situation. You're looking at all of the issues opposed to saying, let's figure out solutions. And you're a leader. You're a man, bro.
I'm trying to figure out solutions, but
dog, not with the thought process you coming with right now.
Hold it, bud. You're making a whole bunch of assumptions. I'm trying to figure out solutions, but you're kind of just making me responsible for stuff that's I'm really not responsible for. I can't control the actions of all other men. I'm not God.
I never told you can control. Let me ask you a question. We automatically assume that women are responsible for certain things, right? Women are responsible for taking care of the home, the children, nurturing the children, this, that, and the third. That's something that we automatically put on them. And it's the same thing that's automatically put on us. We are supposed to protect, we're supposed to lead, we're supposed to nurture, we're supposed to guide, and if need be, die. These are things that are inherently put on us. Because you have a penis, because you're a man. The same way there are certain things because she has a vagina, because she's a woman. There are certain things that inherently that are put on her. There are certain things that are inherently put on us. And here's the problem. The problem is in our neighborhoods, if somebody that we didn't know came in, the whole town knew, right? And I'm from Flatbush, Brooklyn. The whole area knew. So we had an eye on that cat just in case if he was trying to do something bad to one of the women, the girls in the neighborhood or whatever. That's gone. That's gone. There is no I'm my brother's or I am my sister's keeper. There is no community no more. It's about you do you and I'm going to do me. But you know when you want to talk community? When you're getting robbed and black people are watching you opposed to taking out, that they're watching you taking out their cameras opposed to getting involved. That's when we sit there and say, well, how come y'all didn't get involved? You know why? You didn't push community. That's the problem. When we're on platforms like this, we're supposed to push community. The reason why women move the way they move because there's no sense of safety. When we can create a safe haven where brothers, listen, we're up here. There is no disrespect. I'm not trying to put one brother down. Now these brothers don't put on that facade of being cats that knock down buildings with one punch. They can be open and say, yo, I'm having a bad day, man. But you know what these brothers are afraid of? Being called weak, sucker, simp. That's what they're weak on. That's what they're afraid of.
But you're calling me weak right now, and I'm not really.
I didn't call you weak. What I said is your thought process is the reason why we're in the problem, because you keep dealing with the monster opposed to dealing with Frankenstein. We're going to deal with the monster. The monster is a problem. I never said women ain't a problem. What I said to you is let's deal with the catalyst. Let's deal with the root. Let's stop dealing with branches. Let's stop dealing with symptoms and let's deal with the sickness, my G. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm not the root. I don't control the behavior of all freaking men in my neighborhood.
You got to control what you can control.
That's all you can do. Thank you, Dusto.
And it's not just you. It appears selfish when you just look in the mirror and say, hey, man, that problem ain't just me. I'll put it this way. I grew up fairly well off, and I know that other people didn't. And I have opportunities a lot of times to share just information or actually answer a phone, talk people off of a ledge. If I don't do that, then I'm actually wasting something. And I'm actually you can consider me part of the problem. If 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 15 or 1 out of 5 men get what I get, and I don't even use it to help. And then that dude goes and beats his wife 3 weeks later. I actually just let that happen. So and understand it's a bigger picture than just you and just the talking points or just this woman over here acting like it's a whole big picture. So I understand when they're talking about taking down Godzilla and us all having a participation in it. But we can't control what women's do, but we can't control what we do, like with ourselves. And as we make ourselves better people, it does make better women on the outside. I think that's part of what he's saying. And that I understand.
But I control what I do. But
I agree with the concept as a whole. Just me and Sharon were disagreeing on some of the parts of it, of how it's expressed.
Hold on, Hank. I want to leave the room for Kasim to jump in here as well. And I just want to make sure it is very clear that we are not saying that women are not something that we are willing to address. This is a part of the entitlement that people miss because we are trying to hold a man accountable for doing man shit. All of a sudden, that makes the woman get excuses. That is not what we're doing. Pay attention to the words, not narratives. Go ahead, Kasim.
Bolo, I agree with what you were saying, fam. I actually relate and I agree with what you were saying. My thing is this. In order for us to have a particular mindset, right, we'll begin to reflect on our past experiences. We'll begin to make a change in our behaviors and the way that we treat people to get better outcomes as a society and also within our peer group. Do you believe that it can be hitting our head against a brick wall with men of a certain age if they have not gone through a really good relationship experience and took accountability for what they contributed. Like, for instance, I think you probably deal with younger men that are a little bit more palatable, a little bit more open to kind of mold before they get along a certain path. Do you believe that that stops at a certain age where men just won't receive it?
Good question.
No, but the reason why
Who's
I
that
asked
question
that
directed?
question because
Who's the question
right
directed
because
to?
we
Who
it was
you?
directed
It was directed to Bola, but we all could
to
think
Bolo.
about
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Okay.
No, because the reason why I asked that question is because um I think it's easier to do with younger men than it is with older men.
I'm sorry,
Older
Kasim.
men have kind of
I'm sorry, Kasim. What was
say
your question?
again.
I stepped away. I'm sorry. What
My
was your question?
question is right. I agreed with what you said. The statement I can relate to that 100%. Do you believe that you have to get to men at an earlier age in order for them to kind of have more reflection on what they contributed to change their behavior, to change their character, to get a better outcome, and pretty much leave the older guys or the old heads to their own devices?
That's a hell of a good question. Here's the thing. Typically, what allows us to understand things is experience, right? It's easier for the youngins to get it because they don't have too much experience. So you can try and navigate them away from the bad decisions that might, that they might make. When it comes to the old heads, we've been there, right, Kasim? We've made those mistakes. But a lot of the time, because of the pain and the hurt, it locks us into that moment and in the pain and the emotional portion of it, opposed to getting past that and learning the lesson from it. So our jobs as the air quotes OGs is to walk these men through it, because I can't be the only one. You can't be the only one. Sharon, Hank, Dusto, and all the other men on the panel. We can't be the only ones, right? So there are men out there that are suffering, and we need to pull them out. And the emotion portion of it is what connects us so that we're able to be that guiding light to them. So I would agree with you. It's easier to navigate the youngsters through it because they haven't experienced it yet. And if they did experience it, because of our experience, we can talk them through them, right? Life is meant to be lived forward but understood backward. It's not until you go through something that you typically can understand what you just went through. So these young cats that are going through heartbreak, these young cats that are trying to navigate being men, the OGs are there to say, don't make that left turn. Don't turn that way. Don't do that. Why? Let me tell you why. Because I thought that my pullout game was just as nice as yours, and I ended up with a baby mom that I didn't like, and she took me through the damn ringer. Now, my job, some people need to learn through experience, Kasim. Some people will learn from Kasim's mistake and say, I get it, brother. So it is a little harder to get to the OGs because they don't want to relive that pain. But it's something that it's a necessary factor, because through that pain, there's a lifelong lesson. If every mountain was smooth, we couldn't climb it, right? So the
Mm.
pain, the jagged edges, every mark on your body, Kasim, has a story. Every scratch, every bruise has a story that you learned from. And that's going to benefit your grandchildren, your children. And that's the point. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know what? That was a good point. I just remember I had a conversation with my youngest son, last night. Um, and he had graduated out of Ohio State University, so now he's chilling in Miami. And we had a really good heart to heart last night. And he basically asked, he said, you know what, Dad, how is it that you were able to, sustain, relationships for as long as you do? And I told him, I said, the most important thing that I had to learn, I really had to learn like emotional intelligence. I really had to learn to mitigate my emotions and situations and how I responded to things. I was always smart enough to have the logic, and I can always like kind of think it through. But when it came to taking that thought and implementing that thought into actions with another human being, particularly a woman, At one point, I used to lack that emotional intelligence. The way that I used to speak and communicate was just so hard and so firm. There was no nuances in it. There was no understanding that, hey, like, you know what, she's not going to receive it this way that I want to receive it because, I was from the military. So I was coming with that military type of way of communicating without any kind of emotional intelligence. And I said, if you want to be successful in your relationships with a woman, you have to learn how to have emotional intelligence. The logic is 50-50 and the emotional intelligence is 50-50. But in how you guys relate to one another, you're going to use more emotional intelligence and regulating your emotions than the logic more times than not.
To add to what you're saying, I had a friend of mine. I was giving out wheelchairs on my channel for free. And I had one left over. I had two left over, sorry. And a friend of mine got into a car accident. He became paralyzed, Sharon. Couldn't walk anymore. So, you give the logical advice, everything is going to be okay. This, that, and the third. And him being my brother, not blood brother, but close, it looked like I was offending him by the look on his face. But he wasn't telling me. But I was reading his body language. So one day I just sat in a wheelchair for 4 hours and I understood. See, he sees things from 3 feet now, no longer 6'2". He needs help now. He got to go through something. So it's not the message to what you were saying. It's not the message that I was giving. I wasn't presenting it in a way that he could grasp it. You dig? But now that I've sit in his seat, now empathy kinks in. Now I understand. So now I know how to tailor make that message for him. This is why the Lord says, be swift to be quiet and learn to respond. Why? Response is different than reacting. Reacting is knee-jerk. Response means that I actually put thought into what I'm about to tell you. So again, everything is presentation. So when we're talking to our women, or if I'm talking to a brother, we understand the propensity for violence is very fast. So we're going to curtail the way we speak, and we're going to present it in a way that you can understand it. But for some reason, because of men's ego, we don't do that with our wives, right? We just going to spit it out and just expect her to get it, not knowing that we have to understand that she's our emotional side, right? She understands things and process. Women process things different than men process things. They process things different. They understand different. Love translates to them different than love translates to us. We have mitigated, wrong word. We have translated love into an emotion opposed to an action. No, love is not an emotion. Love invokes an emotion. So if I slap Sharon's going to want to take my arm off. That action that I gave him is what evoked that emotion. Love is understanding, patience, long-suffering, temperance, forgiveness, and so much more. And it evokes an emotion. I'm not going to always like Kasim. But you know what? That's my brother. I love him. So if he needs me, I'm not talking to him for the week, but he needs $1,000 for his mortgage. Here's $1,000. All right, man, I'm going back to not talking to you for the rest of the week. Today's Thursday. And vice versa.
I like it. This is a great build. I really appreciate the conversation. Thank y'all so much. Venus, you there? They want to hear from the voice of Venus.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Y'all can move around. I'm just
Oh, damn
Damn it, Venus. I was all waiting and ready.
Damn it, Venus. Hey,
I just
Kasim,
went all over the place. I thought that I don't know what we talking about now. Honestly, I was kind of tuning out though. I thought it was about entitlement with men. Is that what this is?
yeah,
Correct.
like Shador Sanders, entitled.
Wow, that's crazy.
What do you say?
Wow.
We're not even going to entertain it. Go ahead.
No, what'd you say, Scam?
He's talking about
Yeah,
Shador Sanders.
like Shador Sanders, entitled.
Okay, so I'll just say this. I think these conversations are causing more harm than good. I think a lot of men are keeping other men single. I think Kasim and Either Man were saying it earlier, like the things that are being normalized don't really translate well in real life with women. And so we got a bunch of people listening to people who are giving them horrible advice, right? And they're taking it in as if it's truth, and then trying to take that to women in real life, and it don't work, and it's never gonna work. So earlier when you guys were speaking about certain women who will sit there and entertain a certain type of man, that woman is usually going to be somebody who doesn't really have any real self-worth, or she has an ulterior motive. She's there for money or some benefit. Those are the two. Because any self-respecting person is not going to, like, in her right mind, attach herself to a man who is constantly berating women. That wouldn't even make sense. Most women are not with that. And so one of the issues I see is like men don't even check in with women and see what makes sense, right? It's like I'm high value because I said these are the benchmarks and I'm getting that from men, but I don't date men. So that makes no, so you're letting men tell you what they deem valuable, right? But the disconnect is they're not telling you what women deem valuable. So you're taking those things that the men told you are valuable over to women and then wondering why it's not working out. Like someone said earlier, well, I'm an engineer. I make 6 figures. Why am I not getting what I want? Because that's part of it, but that's not all of it. And those men who are telling you those very surface level, materialistic, shallow ass things and sending you out into the world, they are not equipped. They're not like preparing you to being any to be in any meaningful anything with anybody. Because none of that shit don't mean nothing. Like, yes, you need to be a provider. Yes, attraction is a thing, but that gets you in the door. Nobody teaches you what sustains anything because they don't know.
Exactly.
Hey, Venus, I got a question. Just curious. Because you represent the women's.
The women's.
In the last, maybe since 2021 or whatever, have you been online or been in the parking lot at Walmart or something, and a man comes and approaches you? Hey, how you doing today, sweet thing? Then you're talking and you get his number, whatever you want, and then he hits you with the talking points or sounds like a talking point mixtape. Has that happened?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That shit is really translating over in real life, not in the way you said it, but it'll just come up in conversations and you'll hear certain things. And because we've been in these like online spaces so long, at this point your antennas go up immediately when you hear things that sound too familiar. You're like, oh hell no, he's one of them. Let me move around.
Now, I had to ask because about a year ago, a woman hit me with the man talking points.
See, it's
A
really
woman
translating
talking
in real
point at
life.
me. And I couldn't take it, number one, but I
Right,
couldn't believe it.
right.
You
No,
think
it's a
I'm a
thing.
troll on the panels? Oh my God. You see me in real life. 5 times worse.
Yeah, for women, they're just gonna move around. Like I'm not gonna argue with no man in real life about it. I'll just block them. That's real life story, exactly what I do. And there you if you listen, you'll hear women say, is this bad now? They'll say, as soon as I hear a man tell me it used to be if he even says he watches Kevin Samuels, I'm not talking to him. Now it's if I hear any of that red pill stuff, I'm never talking to him. Like it's gotten that bad that women's ears are trained to pick up on certain things and they're just gonna get the hell away from you.
Perfect. And so, and this is where Hank was getting confused that he was saying the same things. This is why he said men like you, not saying that you specifically. So when you are going out there and you are representing the words of people that you don't even want to be that man, but a lot of men are still pushing out the same remedial rhetoric. I seen a kid, I was at a bar, you know, I wasn't talking to them, I overhearing a conversation, and one of the things he asked her, he said, do you think that he's better looking because he's tall or because I'm short? Do you have a preference of tall? And I'm just like, this is crazy.
So
This is in a bar.
So here's how I'm frustrated. So my OGs pretty much spin me around circles and used me, just took advantage of me to get what they wanted. And they just said, well, we gave you what you got. It didn't work for you. It was your fault. You shouldn't just listen to us. So I followed my OGs. They got me in a desert. And now it's my fault for listening to them. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. I'm just supposed to end and try again. It doesn't make sense.
Let me say this to you.
Let
Hank.
me. I can say this, Hank.
Can I say this, Hank Kasim first? Hank, I'd like to apologize to you because for them leading you the way they did and putting you in that thought process of asking questions, which you should, and not trusting. I like to apologize on the side of us as men leading you astray and taking advantage of you. So again, let me extend that hand and say, for the OGs that took advantage of you and left you astray and didn't give you the information that you needed so that you can grow and flourish in this world, I apologize on behalf of them, brother. So at this point, I understand that you're very, analytical, but sometimes you can get paralysis of analysis, right? That can happen also. You can get so analytical that, you can freeze and become over analytical. And there's nothing wrong with being analytical of something, right? It's, search well to your goings. Let me first say, I apologize. That's the first thing. And learn to forgive, because you didn't know. You were young, right? You trusted these men to lead you and give you the advice that you as a young man would need to flourish. So forgiveness is not about forgiving them. It's about forgiving yourself and giving yourself permission so that you're able to move on and learn from that pain. Because that pain, like we were talking about earlier, that emotional portion of it, like Kasim was saying, that emotional portion of it will keep you from being the man that you need to be and learn the lesson from that situation. So again, I apologize, brother.
Okay, Kasim.
No, he just basically, summed it up, for me. And I'll just add a little something. Once we are aware of our transgressions and where we went wrong from advice that was given to us by someone else, and we know better, it is up to us now to seek and find the right solutions. And there is no better time than now where you can have access to information at your fingertips, right? I think probably, Hank, I'm going to guess I'm a little bit older than you are. I'm a Gen Xer. I just turned 54 on Sunday.
Yeah,
right.
Quite a bit. I'm 33. 20-year difference.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So right now, you guys have an edge on than what I had. Right. The information that is easily at our disposal with phones, with on the internet, was much different than we were. We'd had to physically either go out and seek someone that has a successful relationship, as we can see a healthy dynamic, and we can see the outcomes of what their thinking is in their profession that relates to what they have and the people that are around them. Now you have access to the internet, and it's up to you to vet very carefully, the information that you get a hold of. You have to be really specific about what it is that you want to achieve. I always say you should start with self first and spirituality first. I think that's like the groundwork, getting your values in line together, and from that root of your values, then your character begins to flourish. I always tell people to start there first, right? But it is always, right now it is really up to you to find out where you can get the help that you need. But reflection and accountability is probably one of the most important things.
So yes, I heard you. So I have a technique to get around this. We call it overthinking things, called reductionism. So I try to simplify things to the base level. If I didn't do that, I could have got confused with what Bo said. Oh, you just make men do what you want to do. Then I'd go ahead and try to become a supervillain. But that's not worth the effort, because there's plenty of men who has a woman that aren't supervillains. It's not necessary. So that's why I'm filming the blue pill. People like what they like, and it's really hard to explain. You can't explain it in a general basis. People pick who they pick.
Well, here's the thing, man. Let's get, the one thing I would start with is let get away from the red pill and blue pill madness and conversation. Because again, that's where the issue is. There's so many issues when it comes to trauma, and so many issues when it comes to different things in just being men. And let me say this to you, bro. In your weakness, you showed strength, because it took a man to say, it took strength. Let me say that. It took strength to say, the OGs took advantage of me. They took advantage, and they had me twisting around. They had me left out on a desert. A lot of men ain't going to say that. And That's the beginning. That's the start, right? So now what Kasim says kicks in. Now that you know what the wickedness look like, you can now measure the righteousness up against it, right? So I put my number in the background, bro. Holla at me when you got time. Give me a call, and we'll talk offline, and we can get into deeper conversation. Because again, this is what we're supposed to be doing, one for one another, so that when these, being able to see what brothers lack, and being able to give them that light. Because again, you may see where I fall short, because I can learn from the youngins too. Don't get it twisted. I don't have it all together, right? So we learn from each other. That's why the Lord tells you, you know what I'm saying, forsake ye not the assembly of one another. Because where I see something wrong, you know, Venus may say, nah, Bolo, how about this? And I'll be like, you know what? That's an awesome idea. Let's freak it that way. But we have to create an environment of love. Now, don't get it twisted. Love doesn't mean that I'm not going to check you. Love doesn't mean I ain't going to shake you up once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Because we might need that. But here's the thing. When you know that Bolo is talking to you through love and Sharon is talking to you through love, there is no room for ego or pride. So we don't even have to have that fight. What you're going to say is, these brothers have a lot to do. They don't need to be here, and they're talking to me. And so you'll be earnest to hear what we're saying, opposed to wanting to fight. And someone wrote in the chat, always being analytical is good. But when you get into paralysis of analysis, it's going further than just being over analytical. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes things deal with timing. And I want to thank Sharon for allowing me on, and all you guys up here, man. It's been awesome seeing you guys again and talking with you, Venus. Always a pleasure, my love.
Bolo, I gotta catch your shows. I'm sorry, I'll be missing out.
Yeah, I know you be sleeping, right?
Yeah, I just subscribed. If you do this on your show, I'd rather do it on your show, because I'd like to be held accountable for what I said, and I expect the same.
Well, you know what, brother? If you want to do that, absolutely. Testimony Fridays, we do that. But again, I understand that a lot of the times, like in my channel, I don't require you to cam up, only because, especially when we're talking about men, because my channel is primarily for men, not exclusively for men. A place where men can come and be their genuine self to get help. So when you show your face, a lot of the times ego and pride flares up because you don't want to cry. Brother, if you would understand the men that I'm talking to that think about suicide, Dusto can tell you, dog, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. We need each other, man. And we can't expect our women to understand when we're messed up. How can we understand them if we're messed up? You dig what I'm saying? So we got to get ourselves together. And that's why I brought up the example of Adam and Eve. Eve messed up first. Absolutely she did. But it wasn't sin until Adam partook, because he was in charge. So if we're going to be held and take the position of king, husband, and all that stuff, it comes with an accountability and a responsibility. So with that, man, I love you all, man. Thank you, Sharon, for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. And also, before y'all jump in, hey, I want to shout to the Cash App. It says, for the bad behavior yesterday. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother.
Who was being bad yesterday?
Hey, Hank. I've talked to Bolo a couple of times before, but number one, I've been in this space since like fall 2021. I won't say names. I don't put out people's personal business. Some of the people you think are rolling strong are not, and are bleeding, and you might have to talk them off a little. People going through some things. Married, single. This is real. I wouldn't dare put somebody's business out in the street though. But you'll be surprised what people are really going through.
Yeah,
and you'll be surprised how normal you may actually be.
And also, I want to open the door for Ambassador 750. Thank you for your patience. Good day, sir. What do you want to add to the conversation?
And these conversations are always tough, because there is a growing part for men. But I understood what the man was saying. He's around my age, but 33. I'm 31. Where you understand that men are
husbands. Your voice sound like you're 50. Goddamn.
I was raised by older guys. My dad's 78. Okay, so I was raised by the older generation. Well, boomers.
Oh, mine's 80.
Oh, sad. See, I thought I heard something like that. And when I heard the complaint, I immediately knew what you're talking about. You know, when guys. But I'll just start off with the manosphere has a monopoly on talking about some of the deceit and some of the backhand stuff that women do. That's the big problem we have when you're having these conversations. They have a monopoly over it. Husbands have an issue talking about that stuff.
Ambassador, if you could just turn down the TV a little bit, because I want to get hit with the music.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad. Husbands have an issue talking about this conversation. You know, a myriad of issues when it comes to women in their I don't have a politically correct way to say it right now. I don't know, double-mindedness. I don't know. But it's hard to weed out the men who just ultimately have an issue talking about some of the things that women do. I have arguments with OGs all the time. With something as simple as like mandatory what is it? Testing, paternity testing. You can't imagine the amount of OGs that start talking about they start talking about, oh well, that's like saying that my wife is a whore, and that's saying this and that's saying that. I'm like, man, this is simple. This isn't this is a foundation of honesty that we're talking about in marriage. And just the idea of trying to hold, that's not even holding accountable. She didn't do it wrong, but just the idea that there's so many husbands, so many old guys who are just fundamentally against that. So when they're advising young brothers and they're not transparent about, look, I'm one of these guys who, if my wife was cheating, I wouldn't want to know.